Chapter 166. In September, the pop music world was originally very calm. No superstar in the circle chose to release a new album or single this month. Therefore, the four major music websites have become the stage for the competition between the new generation of singers and idols. QQ Music, NetEase Music, Pop Radio, and The Voice of China have all had the debut albums of singers and artists at the beginning of this month, but the most eye-catching one was undoubtedly the showdown between the four rookies of QQ Music Network. Cui Jingji, Lu Qin, Zhou Bei, and Ling Xiaoxiao are all the best of the new generation of artists in China. Everyone thought that Cui Jingji, who occupied the right time, place and people, would inevitably become the final winner. Cui Jingji also thought so when he was interviewed by the media, he was dismissive of Lu Qin. However, the fact gave him a hard slap in the face. At 7 p.m. on September 9, 24 hours after Cui Jingji and Lu Qin's debut album, the sales of Provocation was 67,520 copies, and the sales of You Who Sat Next to Me was 65,117 copies. The gap between the two narrowed to more than 1,000 copies. In fact, both Cui Jingji and Qingtian Entertainment, which he signed a contract with, knew very well that the real sales of Provocation should be subtracted by 15,000 copies. If Lu Qin didn't buy the list, it meant that he was behind by more than 13,000 sales. For a whole day, Cui Jingji did not update his blog, nor did he let Cui Xiuyin write for him. He even pushed away his afternoon appointment and stayed in front of the computer to stare at the sales data of QQ Music Network. It was as if he was possessed. Cui Xiuyin didn't dare to persuade him, and could only explain and apologize to the company on the grounds of Cui Jingji's sudden illness. After all, it was a very bad event for a new artist to temporarily postpone a long-arranged appointment. Even if Cui Jingji was very popular in Qingtian Entertainment because of his parents' relationship, he was still questioned from the upper echelons. Cui Jingji's state was really like that of an illness. He didn't believe that he would lose to Lu Qin. Although he desperately said in his heart that Lu Qin also bought the list, his intuition told the proud new idol that Lu Qin's results were probably real. But how was this possible? The works in Lu Qin's album have already had a live version in advance, which can be easily found on the internet. He didn't invest money in publicity, so he just temporarily hyped it up. How could the results be so good? How could this be? Cui Jingji couldn't figure it out. He wanted to smash the computer on the table. If it wasn't for the company buying the rankings for him, he would have suffered the humiliation of being stepped on by Lu Qin. Lu Qin couldn't figure it out either. He also stayed in front of the computer, watching the constantly jumping numbers on the weekly sales list of QQ Music Network, and Li Mubai, who was sitting next to him eating a fast food box. He couldn't tear apart his sister. Oh, that's wrong, he was puzzled. Lu Qin's initial sales target for You Who Sat Next to Me was 100,000 plus. Later, when he faced Cui Jingji and increased the cost of publicity, his expectation was raised to 150,000 plus to ensure that he could still make a sum of money. However, he never expected that the sales volume would reach more than 60,000 on the first day. If there wasn't a sharp drop, then the total sales volume would at least exceed 300,000, reaching the standard of a blockbuster. Lu Qin felt a little inexplicable. He felt as if he had suddenly been hit by a pie that fell from the sky. His eyes couldn't help but fall on Li Mubai, revealing a puzzled look. Li Mubai swallowed the rice in his mouth and said, "You don't have to look at me. I'm so poor now. These 2 days, I've been advertising for you in the QQ group. I have no money to buy the rankings for you. I didn't even know what buying rankings was before. With this money, I'll eat well. How can I eat this?" But the pitiful third young master of the Li family has now been reduced to the situation of a bento box. Li Murong's words cut off his pocket money this month, and a master like him would spend as much as he could and would not save at all, so he was suddenly in a dilemma. The Porsche sports car has been given to Lee Mushy at a 40% discount, and the latter is still in arrears. So, Lee Mubai can only watch the crowdfunding website start operating as soon as possible. He has never eaten a box lunch for 15 yuan before, but now he is eating it very happily. The steak is not bad. Lu Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but Lee Mubai certainly didn't help him by the rankings. So, this sales result is real. But why? Although the number of his live broadcast fans and blogs are in the millions, most of them are passers-by fans, and there are not many real die-hard fans. Even if it's an album that costs 8 yuan, not many people will buy it. This situation is not only true for him, but also for new artists like Cui Jingji. Nowadays, fans are very shrewd, and it is easy to like the new and dislike the old. They often chase more than one star idol. Stable popularity and genuine fans need a long time of accumulation and cultivation. Lu Chen's rise is very fast, but his foundation is not stable. In addition, he is much more low-key than other artists, so both the outside world and himself are not very optimistic about the sales of You Who Sat Next to Me. The result was so unexpected. Lu Chen shook his head and said to Lee Mubai, "Let's look at the situation again. If the sales volume of QQ has dropped significantly, then we will officially launch the crowdfunding website and crowdfund the album and commemorative set." According to the plan, the crowdfunding website was launched yesterday. The website has already been built, and there is only one project for the time being. However, You Who Sat Next to Me was a big seller on QQ Music, which forced Lu Chen to change his plan. After discussing with Lee Mushy, he was ready to postpone it for about 10 days, so as to avoid the situation of the left hand hitting the right hand. Lee Mushy has no objection. The office of the new company is still being renovated, and she has just returned to China and has too many social activities. It's just that Lee Mubai has suffered. He has no money and no car, so he can only run to Lu Chen's studio all day to freeload. Lee Mubai tried hard to compete with the big platoon and nodded again and again, But the development of things is always so unexpected. On September 10th, Cui Jingji's Provocation sold a total of 82,584 copies, a significant drop. What surprised many people was that the total sales of Lu Chen's You Who Sat Next to Me reached 102,560 copies, counterattacked and topped the weekly sales list of QQ Music, and was significantly ahead of its competitors. Compared with the first day, the drop in his sales was so low that it was really incredible. Although many people in the circle who pay attention to this rookie showdown have been mentally prepared for Lu Chen to surpass Cui Jingji, they were still very surprised to see that the latter's counterattack was so fast. Breaking 100,000 sales in 48 hours was not only a big sale with a total sales of 300,000, but also an impact on platinum record of 500,000. Lu Chen's ambition was too big. On blogs, forums, and post bars, there were more and more comments and discussions. Some people insisted that Lu Chen must have spent a lot of money to buy the chart, and didn't believe that You Who Sat Next to Me could sell so well. Some people also thought that the possibility of Lu Chen buying the chart was very small, and that You Who Sat Next to Me sold well because of its excellent quality. Some people were jealous of his success, and some people laughed at Cui Jingji's failure. They even dug out Cui Jingji's interview video. And the most controversial place was the member forum of QQ Music Network, which was already in a hubbub. As the largest music website in China, QQ Music Forum has gathered a large number of pop music lovers, and the showdown between the four rookies this month has long been a hot topic. By the 10th, the total sales of Ling Xiaoxiao's solo album, True Love is Invincible, was only 60,000 plus, and the subsequent sales directly plunged, making people wonder if the album could finally reach the standard of gold record. And the evaluation of his album on the website was very low, with a member score of only 6.4, barely passing. Considering that he was very likely to spend money to buy the chart, the actual score would only be lower. The situation of Zobei's blooming flower was much better. The total sales on the 10th exceeded 90,000, and the evaluation was 8.1 points. It should be said that her reputation was pretty good, and she lived up to the name of a talented woman. Whether it was Ling Xiaoxiao or Zobei, there was no hot topic worth talking about, so now the focus was mainly on the two albums of Lu Qin and Cui Jingji. In the comment area of the main post of the weekly sales list, all kinds of people were fighting, including Cui Jingji's fans, Lu Chen's fans, passers-by fans of both sides, and a large number of onlookers. QQ Tourist 00567, the sales of You Who Sat Next to Me are too fake. Who believes that it's just water? Second generation husky, upstairs is the stupidest. Blue Sky, I bought Lu Chen's album, and I don't like Cui Jingji. Whittier, Cui Jingji's provocation is not bad, but this album is enough to listen to this song. It's not worth buying. Xiaoji is the best, my Jingji Oppa is the best. Can I trouble Lu Chen's water army not to appear? Thank you. AK-47, hee, can you get out of here? Thank you. The End of the World, I bought both albums. To be fair, Lu Chen is better than Cui Jingji. You will know when you look at the album ratings, and Provocation bought the list, but You Who Sat Next to Me didn't. Popeye, are you serious? Provocation bought the list, then didn't Cui Jingji lose miserably? Ching Ching Love, bullshit. The End of the World, whether I'm talking nonsense or not, everyone can see it with their own eyes. It will be clear when you click on the ratings and comments. All albums or singles sold on QQ Music can be rated and evaluated by buying members. The high or low rating means the good or bad reputation. So far, You Who Sat Next to Me has a rating of 9.2, and Provocation is 8.5. It seems that the gap between the two is not very big, only 0.7. But it should be known that because of the phenomenon of buying the list, it is normal to brush high ratings, and the website doesn't care. Because spending money is the boss, and naturally enjoys privileges. However, as long as you have the heart to explore, you will find the problem from the ratings and evaluations of these members. You can also find out the mystery of the different sales of the two albums. When the tide recedes, it will naturally be clear who is swimming naked. Chapter 167. Cui Jingji's Provocation has more than 40,000 ratings and comments on QQ Music. Clicking on the comment area of the album, attentive people can find that the comments inside are obviously polarized. More than half of them are positive comments, and many of them are top praise, such as so good to listen to, wonderful album, support Jingji Oppa, and so on are innumerable, and there is a lot of repetition of the same content. These comments are densely arranged up and down, and the formation is very neat. It exudes a taste of false prosperity. Of course, there are also some good comments with detailed comments, but compared with the bad comments, it is undoubtedly much less. Low-score bad comments are more realistic and real than high-score positive comments. Many members who have bought the album don't have a high evaluation of Provocation. The general view is that the album is too Korean in style, and it gives them the feeling that it is the same, without too many surprises and highlights. Some people said that they regretted buying it. Although it was only 8 yuan, it was enough to buy a single Provocation. Some people also ridiculed that the songs in the album were like Korean plastic surgery. They were all poured out of the same mold, and several songs were similar to twins. Some people even clamored for a refund. In contrast, Lu Chen's You Who Sat Next to Me has about 40,000 comments, which is less than Provocation. But more than 90% of the comments in the album's comment area are positive, and most of the comments are meaningful, not the kind of simple reply that is fixed model. Some people like You Who Sat Next to Me, some people like Those Flowers, some people appreciate Love in the Wind, and some people have listened to The Brightest Star in the Night Sky dozens of times, but they are not tired of it. A QQ Music member with the ID, Chen Xing, said in the comment, "I like Lu Chen's album, because it reminds me of my good school days, reminding me of my first love, my brother who slept on my upper bunk, those who liked me and the people I liked, and my youth that I can't go back to." Although I've heard most of the live versions, the complete album is still very different. The arrangement and accompaniment were done with great care, and the 8 yuan is really worth it. I hope to buy the CD record. Another ID called World Traveler wrote, "I've long seen Lu Chen singing in Singing China. At that time, there were several songs that really moved me. So, after knowing that he released an album, I bought and downloaded it as soon as possible. I wasn't disappointed. It felt really good. For this album, I want to say, Lu Chen, you are an extraordinary singer." There were many similar comments, and some people even talked about their youth. This kind of comment atmosphere is in sharp contrast to provocation. At the same time, it also deeply stimulated someone. Bang! An expensive branded mouse slammed heavily on the desk. The plastic at the bottom was immediately torn apart, revealing the circuit board inside. It looked like it was about to die. Cui Xiuyin, who heard the noise in the room, hurried over, still holding the phone tightly in her hand. She looked at her brother sitting in front of the computer with great worry. She opened her mouth, but didn't know what to say. Originally, she and Cui Jingji were supposed to leave Huhai for Shaoqing today, but because of the album's sales, they were delayed. The subsequent itinerary and schedule arrangements had to be changed, and the consequences were very troublesome. It was just that Cui Jingji was in such a bad mood that Cui Xiuyin didn't even dare to persuade him. She knew her brother's character too well. He was used to having a smooth sailing. Once he encountered setbacks, he would be upset and irritable, and all kinds of bad temper would follow. Now, it's good that he only broke a mouse. Today is September 11th, and the total sales of Lu Chen's You Who Sat Next to Me album exceeded 150,000, and it was a foregone conclusion. There was even hope to achieve platinum record. The sales of Cui Jingji's Provocation directly plunged, barely exceeding 90,000. The gap was so big that it made people desperate. In just 3 short days, he felt as if he had fallen from heaven to hell. Even if this sales result was very good. After a while, Cui Jingji asked, "Sister, did the company call you again?" Cui Xiuyin sighed and said, "Yes, the company is very angry. They have stopped the promotion of the new album and will no longer buy the charts. They want you to go to Shaoqing tomorrow, otherwise. Also, Mom and Dad also called and asked about your situation." Cui Jingji stayed in the hotel for 2 days. He didn't give any notice or answer the phone. The company was furious. Although she used the excuse of being sick to fend them off, she couldn't hide it from others. Cui Jingji reached out and closed his laptop, rubbed his face hard, and said in a hoarse voice, "I see. Tomorrow, we will go to Shaoqing. You can rearrange the itinerary for me." Good. Seeing that her brother had cheered up again, Cui Xiuyin was also very happy. It doesn't matter if you lose this time. You have plenty of opportunities to defeat that Lu Chen in the future. Cui Jingji nodded hard. But his mind was still full of the comments he had seen on the internet. The bad comments about himself and the good comments about Lu Chen were like sharp thorns, stabbing him to the point of going crazy. Lu Chen. Cui Jingji remembered the name firmly. He vowed that one day he would wash away today's humiliation. On September 12th, You Who Sat Next to Me sold more than 180,000 copies. On September 13th, it broke through 200,000 copies. On September 15th, 250,000 copies. In 7 days, the album created the best weekly sales record on QQ Music Network in half a year, and even surpassed the albums of many domestic first-class singers, becoming the best newcomer album sales in recent years. In contrast, Cui Jingji's Provocation was much inferior, with a total sales of 110,000 copies in 7 days, less than half of Lu Chen's. At this point, there were fewer voices about Lu Chen on the internet. The reason was very simple. It was because everyone knew that Lu Chen was an independent artist. He did not have a powerful entertainment agency behind him. It was impossible for him to buy 20,000 to 30,000 sales. It was completely different when he reached this level. Online sales of a singer's album were different from physical record sales. The sales in the first week often accounted for about 50% of the total sales. The weekly sales of 250,000 copies meant that You Who Sat Next to Me was likely to eventually break through the 500,000 mark. 500,000 copies meant the certification of platinum record, and it also meant a sales performance of 4 million. According to the 50% share, and deducting 10% tax, Lu Chen could get a full 1.6 million. How much did he invest in this album? It was estimated that it was only a few 100,000. All the songs were written by Lu Chen himself. It was simply a big profit. It was unknown how many people in the industry were jealous, and more people felt that it was inconceivable. Why did this album, which already had a live version and no large-scale publicity hype, sell so well? On the evening of September 15, Chen Guodong, who was certified as lecturer in the Department of Music at Beijing Normal University, on Wave's blog, posted a long blog post titled The Silent Majority. As a university lecturer, Chen Guodong had little to do with the entertainment industry, but in the pop music world, his name was widely known. He was a famous music critic and contributed to a number of amateur music websites and magazines. In this long blog post, he focused on Lu Chen's album, which had been widely concerned in the industry. At the beginning of the blog post, Chen Guodong said that he attended the freshman welcome party at Normal University on the 10th. As a result, he heard 4 songs at the party, namely, You Who Sat Next to Me, The Brother Who Slept on My Upper Bunk, Those Flowers, and The Brightest Star in the Night Sky. These 4 songs were all from Lu Chen's You Who Sat Next to Me album, and all of them were welcomed by the students. The playing and singing of several boys even attracted warm applause and cheers from the audience. In contrast, a few popular dance and song programs received mediocre responses. This aroused Chen Guodong's deep thought. Why was Lu Chen's campus folk song so popular with college students and sold so well on QQ Music? He analyzed that it should be that this album touched the feelings of the silent majority. The so-called silent majority was actually ordinary young people and ordinary pop music lovers. They lived around you and me. Some were on campus, and some were working hard in society. They liked listening to pop music, but they didn't go after stars very much. If they wanted to listen to songs, they would search for free downloads on the internet, and they would not easily express their opinions. This huge group was often ignored by entertainment agencies during publicity, because they were not like the fan group of stars, which could bring them rich profits. Therefore, the market trend of pop music was to cater to fan groups. The most popular European, American, Japanese, and South Korean styles were the best evidence. Entertainment companies and singers and stars were changing ways to meet the needs of these people. The decline of domestic music originality had a lot to do with this bias. But were the silent majority willing to passively accept it? The answer was obviously no. They, including some star fans, had long begun to get tired of imitating and plagiarizing the entertainment atmosphere of Europe, the United States, Japan, and South Korea. They didn't want to listen to the same fast songs, but they had no choice. Because the whole market was like this. However, the emergence of Lu Chen was like a fresh wind blowing into the pop music world. His original, campus folk song work undoubtedly let people see the new hope of local originality. So, the energy that had been accumulated for a long time erupted. The most direct reaction was to drive up the sales of You Who Sat Next to Me. There must have been many people who usually listened to free songs, and they were willing to take out 8 yuan to support Lu Qin. Therefore, Lu Qin was able to defeat his opponent Cui Jingji with a crushing force. The latter was precisely the representative of Korean wave music. This was support, but also a silent struggle, the power of the silent majority. At the end of the blog post, Chen Guodong believed that the domestic pop music world should really start to reflect. Don't ignore the silent majority. Chapter 168. Chen Guodong does not have many fans in Wave's blog, only 200,000 plus, and can be regarded as a small V. But he is very famous in the pop music world. He is a contributor to many music websites and magazines, and has a wide range of contacts in the circle. Therefore, there are many star artists and industry celebrities who follow each other on his blog. As soon as the post, The Silent Majority, was released, it was forwarded a lot. Such as music superstars Tan Hong, Chen Feier, Flying Stone Records music director Lin Jijie, famous artist Zhang Zhirong, pop radio host Xu Ping and other Big V have all given positive comments, forming a wider influence on the internet. By the next day, September 16th, the three words, Lu Qin, You Who Sat Next to Me, and The Silent Majority, were on the hot search list on the homepage of Wave's blog at the same time. There are also many bloggers posting short videos they shot at their respective colleges and universities' freshman welcoming parties, which are basically live videos of student performers playing and singing Lu Chen's album. A guitar, a handsome guy, a folk song. Most of these videos were shot with mobile phones, and the picture quality and sound quality were not good, but the atmosphere at the scene was great, which is enough to show the popularity of Lu Chen's original songs among the student community. People in the industry were shocked to find that campus folk song, a folk song category created by Lu Qin, has unknowingly gained a wide range of influence with the release of his debut album and has been recognized by countless young people. When Lu Qin used campus folk song for publicity, many people scoffed at it and even reprimanded it as an act of sensationalism. Now, it is entirely possible to leave a strong mark in the history of domestic pop music. Some entertainment record companies have keenly noticed this market and are planning to launch works in the same style. Lu Chen's Waves blog has increased by hundreds of thousands of fans. Also on September 16th, the sales of You Who Sat Next to Me on QQ Music Online exceeded 300,000. A lot of glasses fell to the ground. It should be known that the sales performance of a singer's album on the website is mainly concentrated in the first week, especially the sales in the first 3 days are the most important. Later, it will definitely go down all the way, and there will even be a sharp dive. The reason is very simple. Online piracy will be rampant with the hot sales of albums, appearing in post bars, forums and QQ groups for others to download for free, which can't be contained at all. Under such circumstances, even if it is a superstar's work, the downward trend is irreversible. You Who Sat Next to Me was released on QQ Music on the 8th. It has been 8 days since the 16th, which has already passed the golden sales period. Normally, the sales should be getting worse day by day and enter the later accumulation stage. But no one expected that the album would sell 50,000 copies on September 16th, which was simply unbelievable and extremely envious. It was simply unbelievable. This miracle once again strongly proved Chen Guodong's assertion about the silent majority. Lu Qin have Lu Qin. By not as, Qin as. The success of You Who Sat Next to Me made Lu Chen's originally declining popularity explode again. Many entertainment agencies and advertisers have called or taken the initiative to approach Lu Chen's studio for cooperation. Performances, endorsements, buying songs. She was so busy that she didn't have time to rest all day long. He believed that his sister would be able to handle it. As for Lu Chen himself, of course, it was impossible for him to be idle. At 1:00 p.m. on September 17, he went to the Beijing television building to participate in the rehearsal of the National Day party of the satellite TV station. Beijing television basically has 4 big parties every year, namely, the Spring Festival Gala on the first day of the New Year, the New Year's Eve Gala on December 31st, the Taiwan Celebration Gala on June 8, and the National Day Gala on October 1st. Among them, the Spring Festival Gala and the New Year's Eve Gala have always been the highlight of the satellite TV station. Relatively speaking, the scale and investment of the Taiwan Celebration Gala and the National Day Gala are a notch lower, and the ratings have always been low. However, Beijing television is located in the capital and has a great influence. Even if it's the National Day Gala with low ratings, there are still countless actors and singers who want to stand on its stage, even if it's just to brush their faces. Lu Chen's opportunity to go on stage at the Beijing Television National Day Gala was originally won by him with the song "Life on a String." After winning the championship of Singing China, it was even more logical, and no one could gossip. Otherwise, with his identity as an independent new artist and his contacts in the circle, there was basically no chance. Lu Chen still attached great importance to the National Day Gala, so he arrived at the satellite TV building in advance. With the invitation letter and identity card sent by the satellite TV station, Lu Chen passed the security check smoothly and came to the T1 studio of Beijing Television. This brand new studio, which was just opened 2 months ago, can accommodate 3,000 live audiences at the same time. The total area of the stage reaches 3,500 square meters, and the decoration is atmospheric and advanced. It can be called the best in the industry. Lu Chen has been here before, so he is familiar with the way. There are already many entertainers in the backstage of the studio. Lu Chen saw many familiar faces inside. They are all famous singers and stars in the circle. The lineup of this gala is undoubtedly quite strong. Under the arrangement of the TV station staff, he sat down in the reserved seat. Also in the backstage, the arrangement of the dressing table is very particular. First of all, the top superstars do not mix in the big room. They have separate VIP suites to use. Secondarily, the first and second line star idols occupy a separate space close to the stage entrance and exit, separated by a partition, while the third, fourth, fifth, and 18th line artists are all arranged in a neat and unified position in the large dressing room. As for other ordinary entertainers, such as backup singers and dancers, they basically can only stand in the corner, or even go to the circular corridor outside to wait for preparations. It's not easy to drink water. Originally, when Lu Chen participated in Singing China, there were not many singing contestants, so the backstage seemed very spacious. Now the rehearsal situation of the gala is completely different. It is very lively and crowded inside. The staff of the TV station have to hold an electronic loudspeaker to shout, otherwise it will be difficult to hear them clearly. After Lu Chen sat down, he didn't run around and cause trouble for people. He took out his mobile phone and started playing with it. His mentality is very relaxed. Because today is the first rehearsal, there is no need to put on makeup and change clothes, and it's just a matter of singing a song. Senior Lu Chen. As a result, Lu Chen had just logged into Lu Fei's message when a voice full of surprise came from the side. "You're here." Lu Chen couldn't help but turn his head and look, and suddenly smiled. Xiao Chu. It was none other than Mu Xiaochu who greeted him. Mu Xiaochu is a sophomore at Beijing Institute of Foreign Languages. She is only 19 years old this year, and can be regarded as Lu Chen's junior sister. Despite her delicate and soft personality, she has overcome all the difficulties in the competition of Singing China. With a sweet song, Small Town Nocturne, she narrowly defeated Gao Zhangping, the challenger of Bihai's singing area, with a total score of 91.68 points, and won the 5th place in the national top 10. In the final national final, the girl with a sweet voice won the fourth place in the total score and was signed by Flying Stone Records. After nearly a month, Lu Chen was also very happy to see this beautiful and lovely girl next door junior sister again. He got up with a smile and asked, "When did you come here?" Mu Xiaochu pursed her lips and said with a smile, "I just came here with senior brother Zhang Haohai." Only then did Lu Chen notice that there was a young man in a black jacket standing next to Mu Xiaochu. The man in the jacket is about 24 or 25 years old. His height is much lower than Lu Chen's. He is handsome and fashionably dressed. He has the temperament of an idol, but he has a bit of a fake smile on his face. "Brother Zhang," Lu Chen took the initiative to extend his hand to the other party. "Long time no see. How have you been?" Zhang Haohai is also one of the top 10 singers in Singing China. He is a native of Shanqing, a Beijing drifting singer. He has strong singing skills and is good at dancing. He won the third place in the final and was also signed by Flying Stone Records. Lu Chen and Zhang Haohai are not familiar with each other. Apart from the original competitive relationship, there is no hatred or contradiction between the two, so the other party's slightly hostile attitude made Lu Chen a little puzzled. Singing China is over. It's all right. Zhang Haohai shook hands with Lu Chen lightly and said, "It's not as good as you. You've even released an album." Lu Chen said with a smile, "It's just good luck." Since Zhang Haohai is neither salty nor indifferent, he will not stick his hot face to the other party's cold butt. Mu Xiaochu said very seriously, "Senior Lu Chen, you don't rely on luck, but strength. I bought several copies of your album for my classmates to listen to. They all said it was very good and wanted to meet you." With a shy smile on her face, she said softly, "When can I invite Senior to have dinner together?" Zhang Haohai's face was a little dark. Lu Chen suddenly understood. It turned out that Zhang Haohai had an idea about Mu Xiaochu. When he saw the latter taking the initiative to approach him, he was unhappy. He shook his head secretly, but agreed, "No problem. You have my cell phone number. You can call me at any time. I'll invite your classmates to dinner." Mu Xiaochu was pleasantly surprised, "Really?" Lu Chen nodded seriously, "Of course it's true. As a senior, how can I deceive a junior sister?" Mu Xiaochu was amused, "Thank you, senior." The two chatted intimately, and Zhang Haohai finally couldn't stay any longer. He said, "You guys talk. I'm going." Mu Xiaochu and Lu Chen nodded and didn't speak. After Zhang Haohai left, the two looked at each other and smiled. Lu Chen could see that Mu Xiaochu didn't like Zhang Haohai, but out of politeness, he treated him with a cold face. Mu Xiaochu said, "Thank you, senior." The same sentence, the front and the back have very different meanings. Chapter 169. Mu Xiaochu is a good girl. She is pure and lovely, kind-hearted, but also intelligent, and her appearance is also first class. If there is any shortcoming, it is that she is not very tall. As for singing, Mu Xiaochu's talent was excellent. Even Chen Fei was full of praise for her voice. It was not just luck that allowed her to enter the finals among thousands of talent singers in the country. Most importantly, she has a good impression of Lu Chen and is willing to get close to Lu Chen. Lu Chen also has a good feeling about Mu Xiaochu, but this feeling is not the kind of feeling between a man and a woman. Mu Xiaochu is like his other sister, a sister who is worth taking care of and is willing to take care of. So, Lu Chen quietly helped her solve her trouble and drove away the annoying Zhang Haohai. Even if it may provoke Zhang Haohai's hatred. Mu Xiaochu is sitting next to Lu Chen. Zhang Haohai's position is also nearby. This afternoon's National Day party rehearsal, including Lu Chen, the top 5 of the top 10 contestants of Singing China, have all come. Of course, it was invited by Beijing Television. According to the original terms that Lu Qin negotiated with Beijing Television, he licensed the copyright of Life on a String to Beijing Television for free, and in return, he will perform on the stage of satellite TV's National Day Party. Originally, the two sides agreed that Lu Qin would sing solo, but now it has been changed to a chorus of the top 5 contestants, which has big drop in value. When Lu Qin received a notice from Beijing Television a few days ago, he was upset. But when he thought about it, he was relieved. At such a level of party, and in Beijing, there are undoubtedly a lot of star artists who want to come on stage. There must be internal games and struggles. It's normal for the program to change. For example, Mu Xiaochu, Zhang Xiaohai, and another singer in the chorus are all signed by Flying Stone Records. Flying Stone Records has a long-term good cooperation with Beijing Television. Lu Qin did not have many connections in Beijing Television. He only knew a few people, and he did not put in much effort to do public relations. He was lucky that his program was not rejected. Changing the solo to a chorus was already giving him face. In this regard, Lu Qin was very clear. He was not arrogant enough to think that Beijing Television needed to beg him. The result of fighting for what was right was very likely to destroy the relationship that he had worked so hard to build. In addition, Lu Qin attached great importance to this performance, but it wasn't to the point where he had to go. Therefore, Lu Qin's state of mind was very peaceful. He would not complain about the unfairness of the world. He believed that as long as he worked hard to improve, there would be a day when he would be able to step on the red carpet of any level of stage. Mu Xiaochu obviously didn't know the inside story. From time to time, he would come over and talk to Lu Qin about the duet. The intimacy between the two attracted the attention of many people nearby. Especially Zhang Xiaohai, his neck was almost broken. Lu Qin treated him like air. Beep. 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 While chatting happily with Mu Xiaochu, they suddenly heard a series of beeping sounds around them. Many people had received text notifications on their phones. A woman who had been standing behind Mu Xiaochu picked up her phone and looked at it, revealing a surprised expression. The woman was in her 30s, with a thin and ordinary appearance. She was the personal assistant assigned to Mu Xiaochu by Flying Stone Records. Her name was Zhou Fang. Lu Qin also had an assistant, but there were too many things to do in the studio today, so he asked Li Feiyu to stay there to help. Mu Xiaochu turned around and asked curiously, "Sister Fang, what's wrong?" Ever since these text notifications sounded, the atmosphere backstage had become very strange and much quieter. Anyone could sense that something was wrong. Zhou Fang quickly looked around, bent down and said in a low voice, "Wang Bin was just caught taking drugs." Wang Bin. Mu Xiaochu was shocked. Is it that Wang Bin? There may be thousands of people named Wang Bin in the world, but there was only one famous one in the entertainment industry. Wang Bin could be regarded as an old senior in the music industry. He made his debut in the late 1980s and was very popular in the 1990s. He had released several records that sold more than 1 million copies, won many awards, and made great achievements in film and television. Although his influence in the Chinese music industry could not be compared with that of Tan Hong, he could also be regarded as a big shot. This character was actually arrested for taking drugs, which was absolutely a sensational event in the country, and was 100% sure to make the headlines. The news in the entertainment industry spread too fast. When one side was arrested, the other side received the news one after another. Wang Bin was one of the heavyweight guests invited by Beijing Television's National Day Party. The satellite TV side had already advertised it, but now that such a big thing had happened, it was bound to be a headache. Zhou Fang nodded and showed a mysterious expression. "I heard that it was reported by the people of Chaoyang district again. This year is the third one." The people of Chaoyang district in Beijing were simply godlike existences, the nemesis of star artists in the entertainment industry. Since the beginning of the year, according to the reports of the people of Chaoyang District in Beijing, as many as 10 well-known artists have been arrested because of drug abuse, sheltering drug abuse, and paying to solve their physical needs. Netizens joked that these people could make a prison blockbuster if they squatted together. On the surface, the entertainment industry was bright and beautiful, but in fact, it was also dirty. Many artists chose to indulge themselves for various reasons, and as a result, they embarked on the road of no return. Because many stars in Beijing lived in Chaoyang District, there were many accidents in this area. Especially in recent years, the government rectified the public security situation and vigorously cracked down on illegal and criminal activities, which made the people of Chaoyang District famous. The artists in the backstage of the studio all learned the news through their respective assistants. There was a lot of whispering and discussion. The words Wang Bin, drug abuse, arrested, and so on floated out from time to time. After almost half an hour in a strange atmosphere, a staff member appeared backstage. He raised the microphone and asked, "Lu Chen, is Mr. Lu Chen there?" Lu Chen was stunned, stood up instinctively, raised his hand and said, "I am here." In a twinkling, he became the focus of attention. Many of them were well-known singers and actors. Everyone's eyes were curious, doubtful and surprised. Lu Chen felt that the pressure was really a little big. Fortunately, the staff member immediately said, "Please come with me." Lu Chen hurried over. When he left the backstage area, the discussions behind him grew louder and louder, and it became noisy once more. Following the TV station staff, Lu Chen came to an office. The small office was filled with smoke, and the scene made Lu Chen feel familiar. There were also two acquaintances, Chen Qi, deputy director of Beijing Television, and Gu Ruwei, the music director of Singing China program group. The other people present were probably people from the TV station. The atmosphere in the room was very depressing. In particular, Gu Ruwei was frowning, his face was wrinkled like a bitter gourd, and he was smoking. When he saw Lu Chen coming in, he reluctantly squeezed out a smile. "Xiao Lu is here." In fact, he might as well not smile, which was even uglier. Relatively speaking, Chen Qi was much calmer. He pointed to the sofa next to him and said, "Xiao Lu, sit down." He introduced several colleagues to Lu Chen, namely, the host, assistant director, and so on. When Lu Chen politely greeted him and sat down again, the deputy director of Beijing Television asked him bluntly, "Do you know that Wang Bin was arrested for taking drugs?" Lu Chen nodded, "I just knew." Chen Qi sighed and said, "It's really unexpected that such a thing happened. Wang Bin's program is definitely going to be pulled down. Our opinion is that you should replace it." Ah. Lu Chen never expected that Chen Qi would let him replace Wang Bin's program. Gu Ruwei explained, "We originally gave you a solo program. Later, the situation changed, and now there has been an accident. I have discussed it with Director Chen, and you will replace Wang Bin. In addition, the program of Singing China's Top 5 will continue to be retained, which is equivalent to giving you 2 programs." Chen Qi said, "Xiao Lu, you are a good person, and you are the champion. You are fully qualified. So that's how it is. It's really a blessing in disguise." If Lu Chen had a disagreement with Beijing Television because of the change from solo to chorus, perhaps this opportunity would not have come to him at all. Lu Chen said without hesitation, "Thank you, Director Chen. Thank you, Director Gu. I will try my best to perform well. These 2 programs are absolutely a blessing from the sky." In fact, what Lu Chen really wants to thank is the people of Chaoyang District. "Don't worry," Chen Qi raised his hand and said, "Now the situation is like this. In the afternoon, several leaders of Central TV will come over. They will sit in the studio and watch our rehearsal. Later, you will replace Wang Bin. Your performance can't be bad." Gu Ruwei asked, do you have any ideas about the choice of the solo song? Making a last-minute effort, Lu Chen was very young. Although Chen Qi and Gu Rui decided to put the burden on him, they still could not be completely relieved after all. Chen Qi said, "Why don't you sing the song, The Brightest Star in the Night Sky, the champion's work?" Gu Rui said with a wry smile, "Wang Bin was originally going to sing, New China's New Era." I'm afraid Lu Chen's song, New China's New Era, is a theme song, and the original singer is Wang Bin. Since it is the National Day Party, the theme style must be biased towards the theme. There has been Lu Chen's Life on a String before, plus The Brightest Star in the Night Sky. Gu Rui's worries are not unreasonable. That, Chen Qi hesitated. He felt that he called Lu Chen over in a hurry. Was it not thoughtful enough? Maybe it would be better to change someone else. At this time, Lu Chen said, "Director Chen, Director Gu, I have a work in the theme style. It should be very suitable for the National Day Party." He keenly felt the change in Chen Qi's mentality, so he immediately put forward his own opinion. If he didn't seize this opportunity, he wouldn't be in the entertainment industry. Gu Rui's eyes lit up. "What work? Where is it?" Lu Chen pointed to his head in embarrassment and said, "It's still here." Chapter 170. What? When he heard Lu Chen say that his work was still in his head, Gu Rui felt that his head was going to explode first. This was AF** King scam. Forgive this gentle music director for swearing in his heart. He was really angry with Lu Chen. As a senior in the circle, Gu Rui has always had a good impression of Lu Chen and appreciates the latter's talent very much. Lu Chen is young and handsome. He has a very high talent in singing and composition. It's rare that he doesn't have the arrogance and vanity of new artists. He is modest and peaceful without losing his passion. He is definitely one of the best newcomers in the pop music industry in recent years. If it weren't for the fact that his daughter was too young and still in junior high school, Gu Rui would be happy to introduce her to Lu Chen. Therefore, after learning that Wang Bin had an accident, his first reaction was to let Lu Chen fill in. Originally, Gu Rui was not in favor of changing Lu Chen's solo to a chorus. He felt that it was unfair to Lu Chen and violated the original agreement between the two parties, which made him embarrassed to meet this rising star. The situation in the satellite TV station is very complicated, and the interests of all sides are very deep. As a music director, Gu Rui's right to speak is not high. Even if he wants to help Lu Chen, he is powerless. This time, Wang Bin's accident happened to be an excellent opportunity, so he strongly recommended Lu Chen to Chen Qi. Chen Qi also appreciated Lu Chen, so he called Lu Chen over. According to Gu Rui's idea, it was to let Lu Chen replace Wang Bin to sing a well-known work with a theme. Unexpectedly, Lu Chen offered to have a new work available. Gu Rui was simply surprised. But he never expected that Lu Chen's so-called new song hadn't been written yet. How could great director Gu not be annoyed? Chen Qi, the assistant director of the National Day Party, the director, and so on were all there. He couldn't hang his face. Several colleagues from the TV station showed disapproving expressions. Seeing that Gu Rui's face turned red, Lu Chen quickly explained, "Mr. Gu, give me 10 minutes. I'll type out the score first. I have an hour, and I can do the simple accompaniment. Look at the score first. If you're not satisfied with my work, you can do whatever you want." When he said the last sentence, his eyes shone with unparalleled confidence. It was this confidence and the good impression he had of Lu Chen that calmed Gu Rui's anger that was about to erupt. He could not help looking at Chen Qi. The one who could decide this matter was the boss who held great power. Chen Qi said with a smile, "Young people are really impulsive. I'll give you 10 minutes then." To be honest, Chen Qi was a little annoyed when he heard Lu Chen's arrogant words just now. Youngsters nowadays really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. It was just that he was very shrewd and would not easily reveal his inner feelings. He even had the intention of watching a joke. After all, the one who supported Lu Qin was Gurue. Now that he heard Lu Chen's explanation, the deputy director's curiosity was aroused. This young man is so confident. Then I'll give you 10 minutes to perform. If you perform well, you pass. If you don't, Deputy Director Chen's face-slapping skills were not for show. Thank you, Director Chen. Thank you, Director Gu, Lu Chen asked. Mr. Gu, can you lend me a computer? It's best if it has Singer Master installed. Singer Master was a godly tool for music creation. It combined the functions of song creation, arrangement, synthesis, output, and so on. It had a huge online cloud library. It was professional, but easy to use. Whether it was an amateur or an experienced musician, they could all use this software to create their own songs. Moreover, Singer Master could be directly connected to the Greater China Music Library. It was very convenient to apply for copyright registration. All of Lu Chen's works were completed through Singer Master. He originally majored in computer science and was very familiar with this software. It was not an exaggeration to say that he could write a score in 10 minutes and a simple accompaniment in 1 hour. This was only the first rehearsal. After the work passed the review, there was still time to go back and rearrange the music. Gurue pointed at the desk next to him and said, I'll lend you my computer. I also have a printer. This office belonged to Gurue. The computer was lent to Lu Qin and the opportunity was given to him. If he messed up again, Director Gu immediately blacklisted him. Thank you. Lu Qin did not hesitate. He immediately ran to the desk and turned on the computer. Gurue's computer had high specs. There were many professional music software installed in the system. Singer Master was also there. It was the advanced version that Lu Qin was very familiar with. Lu Qin double-clicked on the Singing Master icon. While the software was opening, he took a deep breath. Cough, cough. He almost choked to death from the secondhand smoke in the room. All right, I won't pretend anymore. He quickly searched through his memory to find the suitable work. In Singer Master, Lu Qin skillfully operated the software. His fingers quickly typed in a series of characters. Seeing that Lu Qin had started working, Chen Qi and Gurue continued to talk, but the content was not related to work. After all, there were outsiders present. There were many things that could not be said. They all had this sensitivity. The topic they were talking about was the recently arrested Wang Bin. The impact of this incident was too bad. Celebrities being arrested for breaking the law was not news. The people were experienced and knowledgeable. The entertainment industry was not afraid of an itch. Anyway, a gust of wind would blow over and the sun would still rise tomorrow. However, Wang Bin's status was too high. His original image had always been very good. Now that such a big incident happened, his career was completely finished. After being released, there was no chance for him to make a comeback. Because the higher authorities of the country had strict regulations on this. They had to ban him for at least 10 years. Albums could not be released, announcements could not be released, programs could not be on, no publicity could be done. Not to mention 10 years, a few years would basically be wasted. The price was absolutely disastrous. Even Beijing television had to follow suit. After all, they had used Wang Bin to advertise before. The impact is too bad, Chen Qi frowned and said, it's like sitting at home and disaster comes from the sky. The deputy director sullenly pressed the cigarette butt into the ashtray. It was already filled with filter cigarette butts. Although Beijing television was also a victim in this incident, in the eyes of outsiders, it was just bad luck. That was the National Day party, and the special guest made such a big scandal, which undoubtedly discredited the TV station. And as the actual leader of this National Day party, Qin Shi was really a bit passive. The halo that he had brought about by the success of Singing China was instantly stripped by more than half. Yes, Guru Wei took out a cigarette and handed it to Qin Shi. The most important thing now is to eliminate the impact. He and Qin Shi are old colleagues and understand the latter's mind. People are lonely at the top. In a unit with a complex structure like a TV station, it is actually very tiring to be an official. Perhaps because of a small matter, he will inexplicably be demoted. Qin Shi took the cigarette and was about to light it when suddenly there was a sound of hot wind and a clicking mechanical sound. Ha! Both of them were stunned and turned their heads to look. They saw the laser printer on the shelf next to the desk spitting out a piece of printing paper. It could be seen that there were dense characters printed on it. So fast. Guru Wei couldn't help but shiver and feel that it was incredible. Just now, Lu Qin said that he would give him 10 minutes to write a song. Guru Wei didn't believe it. Even if there was a mature idea in his head, it would take time to write a score, unless he didn't pay attention to details. Therefore, he planned to give Lu Qin more time. After all, it's better to be generous and tolerant to young people. In the current pop music world, there is a lack of excellent creative newcomers like Lu Qin. As a result, he and Qin Shi had just finished smoking a cigarette, and Lu Qin had already printed out the score. Guru Wei didn't know what to say. Why are you in such a hurry? Although he complained, Guru Wei's movements were still very fast. He immediately straightened up and reached for the printout. He thought that if this work didn't meet the requirements, then he would criticize Lu Qin. Sometimes criticism is also a spur, which can help newcomers get rid of their impetuous mentality. Seeing Guru Wei's action, Qin Shi said "Ha" and shook his head with a smile. The printed paper was still warm and even a little hot, but Guru Wei didn't care. He stared at the black and white notes and lyrics on the paper. The temporary score was of course a simplified score, but it didn't matter. Guru Wei mainly looked at the melody, style, and lyrics of the song. In the beginning, he frowned and didn't seem very satisfied. But his eyebrows soon stretched out and gradually showed a look of excitement, as if he had found a treasure. The music director's lips were moving. He was singing without making a sound. Good. Suddenly, Guru Wei slammed his palm on the coffee table and shouted excitedly, "Good song." He couldn't help but use all his strength, and as a result, the ashtray was knocked over. The assistant director sitting next to Guru Wei was startled. The cigarette in his mouth suddenly fell down. As a result, it fell right on his trousers. He jumped up instinctively and patted it with his hands again and again. To be continued. Old Gu, what are you doing? Guru Wei came to his senses and quickly apologized. Oh, old Wang, I'm really sorry. Look at me. The assistant director didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Do you have to be so excited? Guru Wei handed the printed paper to the assistant director like he was presenting a treasure. Old Wang, you'll understand when you look at this song. The assistant director also knew music, so he had no problem reading simplified scores. Naturally, he could understand his mood. The assistant director took the score doubtfully. Was it so exaggerated? After giving up the score, Guru Wei looked at Lu Qin again. He was suddenly angry. What are you looking at us for? Hurry up and make the accompaniment. We have to rehearse on stage at 3:30. The music director of Beijing Television had put all his previous thoughts about Lu Qin behind him. This song was completely worthy of his support for Lu Qin. Chapter 171. Backstage of the T1 studio. Mu Xiaochu looked in the direction of the entrance and exit from time to time, with a trace of anxiety in her eyes. Lu Qin has been called away for almost an hour, but he hasn't been seen yet, as if he had evaporated from the world. And the chorus program Life on a String, the top 5 singers of Singing China, will soon be rehearsed on stage. She didn't know what happened to Lu Qin, and just now, a staff member came over to inquire about the situation. How could this be? Mu Xiaochu was worried that Lu Chen's delay would affect the program's schedule and would definitely offend Beijing television. Then Lu Chen's career future would definitely be greatly affected. But it was clearly the people from the station who called him away. It stands to reason that nothing should happen to him, but why hasn't he come back yet? Mu Xiaochu's heart was really in a mess. Zhang Haohai, who was sitting next to him, saw it. He knew what Mu Xiaochu was worried about, and his heart was full of jealousy. Xiaochu, you don't have to worry about others, Zhang Haohai couldn't help saying, let's get ready to go on stage. It's rehearsal anyway. It doesn't matter if there's one less. With that, a touch of ridicule appeared on his face. Zhang Haohai was eager for Lu Qin not to go on stage, and preferably to be brushed off by Beijing television. He admitted that whether it was appearance or talent, he was no worse than Lu Qin, but the latter was doing very well. Even Mu Xiaochu looked at Lu Qin in a different light and spoke bluntly to him. Mu Xiaochu pursed her lips. She glanced at Zhang Haohai and said lightly, this song was written by Senior Lu Qin. He is also the champion of Singing China. Without him, there would be no such program. Mu Xiaochu was kind-hearted, but that didn't mean she had no temper. She was reminding Zhang Haohai that Lu Qin was the core of this chorus track. One mustn't forget one's roots. And don't be self-righteous. Zhang Haohai's face suddenly turned red. He was the kind of person who had a strong sense of self-esteem. He couldn't stand other people's contempt, so he immediately wanted to retort. In the end, Mu Xiaochu didn't pay any more attention to him. Instead, he suddenly smiled, stood up, waved his arm, and said loudly, Senior Lu Qin, come quickly. It turned out that Lu Qin had appeared at this time. Zhang Haohai had no choice but to forcefully swallow the words he was about to say, and his expression was extremely ugly. Lu Qin had no idea what had just happened because of him. He walked back to his seat and asked Mu Xiaochu with a smile, what's wrong? Mu Xiaochu smiled and said, we're about to go on stage. Senior, are you ready? Her smile was so sweet that it made Lu Chen's heart skip a beat. He nodded and said, I'm ready. At this time, Lu Chen suddenly felt that the atmosphere around him had become strange. It suddenly quieted down. Mu Xiaochu also felt the same. She and Lu Chen turned their heads at the same time. What happened? They saw a beautiful woman in a rainbow-colored feather dress, escorted by several assistants like stars around the moon, came in front of them. She took the initiative to greet them with a smile, Lu Qin, Xiaochu, long time no see. This woman in a gorgeous dress was Qin Fei, the queen of sweet songs in the music industry, a big shot in the entertainment industry. There were a lot of star artists who came to the party rehearsal today, but in terms of status, no one was higher than her. If Wang Bin was still here, he might be able to compete with her. Unfortunately, he was now squatting in the detention center. Qin Fei had been in the entertainment industry for more than 10 years. This year, she was already 30 years old, but she was born beautiful and took good care of herself, so she looked like she was in her early 20s. Moreover, she had an amazing aura, so she naturally dominated the scene. No one dared to make a fuss in front of her. Many of them looked at her with respect and even reverence. Hello, Teacher Qin. Lu Qin and Mu Xiaochu replied in unison. Qin Fei is one of the 4 judges of Singing China. She appreciates Lu Qin very much and likes Mu Xiaochu very much. Hello, Teacher Qin. The artists around them, including the other 3 top 5 singers, all got up and greeted them respectfully. Hello, everyone. The queen of sweet songs said with a smile, just call me sister. Calling me teacher makes me old. Mu Xiaochu said very cleverly, Sister Fei, Chen Fei nodded, stepped forward and took Mu Xiaochu's small hand and asked, "What's your program?" In full view of the public, Mu Xiaochu blushed at her intimate action and replied shyly, "Sister Fei, our program is a chorus, singing Senior Lu Chen's song, Walking and Singing." Chen Fei, suddenly said, "Then the next program is you." She tilted her head and asked Lu Chen, "I remember you promised to write a song for me, right? Have you finished writing it? Did you forget?" The Queen of Sweet Songs smiled. Her starry eyes were like water, with an indescribable charm, and even with a trace of girlish cuteness and beauty, which made people forget her real age. Lu Chen was a little dizzy. Fortunately, he had enough willpower. He quickly replied, "It's been written." "When do you want it, Sister Fei?" "I'll send it over." Chen Fei invited him to sing a song, but in the program. Therefore, Lu Chen didn't take it seriously, including Chen Fei's invitation to him as a guest at the concert. After all, the status between the two was too far apart. He didn't want people to misunderstand that he deliberately climbed up to the other party. He didn't expect that Chen Fei still remembered it and seemed to be serious. Of course, he wouldn't be stupid enough to say that he wasn't prepared. Chen Fei was surprised. "Really? That's great. Thank you. I'll ask my assistant to contact you." Lu Chen said, "Okay." The surrounding people who heard the conversation between the two of them all cast envious and jealous gazes at them. In their opinion, Lu Chen was so lucky. Not only did he get to know Chen Fei, but he was also going to write a song for her. It should be known that those who were qualified to cooperate with Chen Fei were all top-level figures in the industry. Lu Chen was just a new artist who had just made his debut, but he was actually favored by Chen Fei. If it wasn't luck, then what was it? Chen Fei noticed the strange gazes from all around, but she didn't care. She smiled and said, "Go ahead." After that, she went to the VIP room with her assistant. After Chen Fei left, the atmosphere backstage quickly returned to its original state. Then a staff member appeared, holding a microphone to remind the performers of the next program to get ready to go on stage. It was the chorus of Lu Chen, Mu Xiaochu, and others. The top five singers of Singing China will gather together in the waiting area, and then sing together on the stage. According to the arrangement of Beijing Television, today is the first rehearsal for the National Day Party. It will be rearranged on the 21st, rehearsed on the 25th, and recorded live on the 29th, which will be broadcast on the evening of October 1st. The schedule is very tight. If there is a problem with the program, additional rehearsals will be needed. Of the four major parties of Beijing Television, except for the New Year's welcome party, the others are all recorded. Today's first rehearsal is very important for the artists who participate in the performance, because if their performance is not good enough, they may be brushed off, and it doesn't mean that they can be officially recorded. Therefore, whether it's Lu Chen, Mu Xiaochu, or Zhang Haohai, they all went all out and were very serious. Although it was the first time for the five singers to cooperate, there was basically no big problem, except that their cooperation was not very tacit. After all, the difficulty of this song is not high, and any one of them can easily control it. Beijing Television's T1 studio can accommodate 3,000 live audiences, but today is a rehearsal, so there are certainly not that many audiences. Basically, the people at the scene are the staff and relevant leaders of the TV station, including the judges of the party program group. After singing, the TV station's judges gave some advice and then let everyone off the stage. Today, their rehearsal is over. On the way back to the backstage, Mu Xiaochu asked, "Senior Lu Chen, are you going back now?" Artists' time is precious, especially those who have a lot of schedules. Although they are willing to squeeze out time to participate in the rehearsal of the party, the TV station is still very reasonable. Therefore, they can leave after the rehearsal and wait until the rehearsal on the 25th. Lu Chen shook his head and said, "You go first. I still have a solo performance to rehearse." "There's still a solo performance?" Several other singers were stunned and couldn't believe their ears. Especially Zhang Haohai, whose jaw almost fell off. All three of them knew that this program was originally Lu Chen's solo performance. Later, after the public relations operation of the company they signed with Beijing Television, it was changed to a 5-person chorus. The only one who didn't know the inside story was probably Mu Xiaochu. The three of them couldn't help but gloat over Lu Chen's misfortune. Anyone who encountered such a thing would probably be depressed. But who would have thought that Beijing Television would actually prepare a solo performance for Lu Chen? Isn't this a little too much? Other star artists only have one program, but Lu Chen can be on two. Is it because he is the champion? They are indignant, jealous and bitter, depressed and speechless. Only Mu Xiaochu is really happy for Lu Chen. "Senior Lu Chen, you are really amazing." Lu Chen said with a smile, "I was just lucky." Zhang Haohai and the others cursed in their hearts. "What are you pretending for?" But no matter how jealous they were, it didn't affect Lu Chen in the slightest. After saying goodbye to Mu Xiaochu, Lu Chen waited backstage for nearly half an hour before going on stage again. This time, he went on stage alone. At this time, more than half of the rehearsal program had passed, and there were a lot more people in the audience in the studio hall. Among them, the people sitting in the first 2 rows were very eye-catching. Lu Chen knew that these more than a dozen people were the top executives of Beijing Television, as well as 2 leaders of Central Television. Everyone's eyes were focused on him. Compared with the chorus of many people in front of him, the pressure he had to bear alone was undoubtedly doubled. Standing in the center of the stage, in front of the microphone, facing pairs of scrutinizing eyes, Lu Chen's heart was as still as water. Chapter 172. Stroking the sparse hair on his head, Lu Jingji twisted his fat waist and buttocks to make his huge body more comfortable against the soft chair, and the moderate soft and hard wrapping feeling of the chair also made him very comfortable. The little brother of those years is shaking. The director of the CCTV Literature and Art Program Department secretly sighed in his heart. It is said that the chair under his buttocks is worth more than 7,000 yuan, and is an ergonomic technology product. In the Beijing Television T1 studio, there are 2,999 similar soft chairs. This newly put into use studio claims to be the largest and most advanced facilities in China, and even Lu Jingji is a little jealous. The largest studio of CCTV can only accommodate 2,000 audiences at most. As a middle and high-level figure of CCTV, Lu Jingji went to Beijing Television today to watch the first rehearsal of the National Day Party. Of course, it was not because he was bored, but because he had a duty. CCTV, to which Lu Jingji belongs, is the most important news and public opinion organization in China. It is an important ideological and cultural front and one of the most competitive mainstream media. It has a variety of functions such as news dissemination, social education, cultural entertainment, information services, and so on. Founded in 1955, CCTV is the main channel for the national public to obtain information. It is also an important window for China to understand the world, and the world to understand China. It has a wide influence in the world. The predecessor of CCTV was Beijing Television Station. Later, after the restructuring, CCTV and Beijing Television were separated. As the saying goes, broken bones are still connected with tendons. The relationship between CCTV and Beijing Television is complicated enough to write a thick book. Many of the senior executives of Beijing Television came down from CCTV, and the latter also has the direct responsibility of guiding the former. This influence is comprehensive. The reason why Beijing Television produced its first reality show this year has a lot to do with CCTV. Beijing television relies on CCTV to a certain extent, but it is not willing to be the latter's marionette. The great success of the ratings of Singing China inevitably made the little brother of CCTV have some ideas. So, Lu Xingji came here today, not just to guide the National Day party of Beijing television. Thinking about this, Lu Xingji was a little out of sorts. It wasn't until he saw Lu Chen appear on the stage that he turned his attention back to the program list in his hand. This program is... LV Xingji stared at the words on the program list and asked in confusion, Wang Bin's New China's New Era. Although director Louis was a little nearsighted, he was wearing high-end glasses that cost thousands of yuan. He could clearly see what the person on the stage looked like. Is this Wang Bin? Are you kidding me? Lu Xingji and Wang Bin knew each other and had eaten together before. Sitting next to him, Gao Zhixue, director of Beijing TV's editor-in-chief office, coughed and said awkwardly, Wang Bin. Wang Bin's program was temporarily changed. Wang Bin's program was changed. Replace him with such a young man. LV Xingji was a little confused. It was not uncommon for a program to be changed during the rehearsal of a TV gala. As for the reasons, it was very complicated. Some of them were because the program was really not good, some of them had problems with the performers, and some of them might have been squeezed out by the latecomers. But what kind of person was Wang Bin? He was not a top big shot, but he was a heavyweight guest of Beijing television. Will he be squeezed out? LV Xingji shook his head and asked, did something happen to Wang Bin? His words were spot on. At this time, his assistant came over and whispered a few words in his ear. In fact, LV Xingji's assistant and Gao Zhixue had already gotten the news, but they didn't tell him. The former didn't think it was necessary, and the latter didn't want to say it at all. Now that LV Xingji took the initiative to ask, his assistant couldn't pretend to be deaf and dumb, otherwise, he would be disrespectful to his leader. LV Xingji was stunned. After a while, he turned to look at Gao Zhixue with a strange look in his eyes. Gao Zhixue smiled helplessly. LV Xingji sighed, Wang Bin is still a good person. I guess he was possessed for a moment. Who is this? To be able to temporarily replace Wang Bin, he was certainly not an ordinary artist. Gao Zhixue secretly breathed a sigh of relief and hurriedly introduced, this is Lu Chen, the winner of Singing China. Lu Chen. LV Xingji frowned, and immediately relaxed. I remember, my son likes his songs. He looked at Gao Zhixue with a faint smile and said, originally, Wang Bin sang a theme song. You let this Lu Chen replace him. What song are you going to sing? Whether it is CCTV or Beijing TV, the program of the National Day Party must first be politically correct. The singing, which accounts for a large proportion of the program, must be dominated by theme songs, and popular songs are only a foil. The previous two programs were popular works, and now there is a champion of the talent competition. Director Louis had to find fault with him and give him a warning. Gao Zhixue could only continue to smile bitterly. It was arranged by Deputy Director Qin and Director Gu. They will not have no sense of the overall situation. The director of Beijing TV's chief editorial office also complained about his colleagues in his heart. If you want to sing a theme song, there are too many people to choose from. How can Lu Chen be the one to replace it? There is already a chorus program in front of Lu Chen. LV Xingji said meaningfully, I hope so. He thought that if the program was still a popular song, then he would have to say something. As Gao Zhixue listened, his eyebrows were twisted into a Chuan character, and his dissatisfaction was overflowing. If it weren't for Lu Xingji's presence, he would have really cursed out on the spot. The chief editor's office director has been able to determine that he has never heard this song before. The previous melody and lyrics are not bright. The tune is soothing and deep, without the excitement of a theme song. Lu Chen's singing skills are still very good. His voice is unique and highly recognizable. His performance in the middle and low notes is worthy of the title of Singing China Champion. Most importantly, the melody and lyrics are obviously pop style. Where is the theme song? Gao Zhixue really can't listen to it anymore. He has already thought about it. This solo program must be replaced, and Guru A can't continue to be willful. And at this time, Lu Chen, who was standing on the stage, suddenly raised his head. His eyes were looking straight ahead, his eyes were full of firm strength, and his singing suddenly became excited and high-spirited. I love you, China's beloved mother, I cry for you and am proud of you. I love you, China's beloved mother, I cry for you and am proud of you. When the song, which contains infinite emotional power, rushed into Gao Zhixue's ears, he couldn't help but shiver. This chorus part, in an instant, the previous theme was sublimated, and reached a very strong height. The sharp contrast between the previous and the previous made the climax part give people a deafening strong feeling, as if a soft place in the heart was suddenly touched, making people involuntarily moved, and even goosebumps emerged. One day, this song will grow old, like a bud on an old tree, but I will still sing it over and over again, just like my life. Some people will slowly disappear, and some emotions will gradually break, but you are always like an unparalleled sun in my heart. I love you, China's beloved mother, I cry for you and am proud of you. I love you, China's beloved mother, I cry for you and am proud of you. The whole studio was silent, and all the voices of discussion disappeared. Only Lu Chen's singing was echoing, impacting, and beating, like waves in the sea. Wave after wave, they shocked everyone's hearts. Note, I love you, China lyricist/composer, Wang Feng. Chapter 173. The rise and fall of domestic theme songs beat with the pulse of the times. Theme songs first flourished in the 50s and 60s, when the country was newly established and the whole society was full of vitality. Works reflecting the style of the times emerged one after another, giving birth to many classics. In the 70s and 80s, China achieved great unification, the reform and opening up to prosperity and wealth, and the material life of the people has been greatly improved. Theme songs followed the pace of the times, and a large number of famous young singers emerged, which are still active in the mainstream today. After entering the new century, theme songs, like ethnic songs and pop songs, became fewer and fewer classics. The style was the same, the melody was repeated, and gradually lost its original status. However, on the political level, the vitality of theme songs is still extremely tenacious. Many major festivals in China, such as National Day, Army Day, Victory Day, etc., have always been played by theme songs. For example, Beijing Television's 2015 National Day Gala, there were as many as 15 song and dance programs, accounting for 70% of the total, among which 11 were theme songs. There was no need to consider the ratings for this gala. Lu Chen was temporarily replaced to sing solo, so when Gu Rui intentionally asked him to sing the theme song, he immediately thought of many classic theme works from the dream world in his memory. Tn, that's right. There were too many songs to choose from, and any one of them was enough to dominate the scene. Not to mention others, there were two versions of I Love You China. In addition to the version that Lu Chen just sang, the other version was actually more classic and had the real theme style. However, after careful consideration, Lu Chen still chose the current version. The reason was very simple, the problem of composition and singing style. The other version was classic and excellent, and more in line with the requirements, but it was very different from the style of his previous works, including the melody, the lyrics, and the way of singing. The current version of I Love You China had a very good melody, rhythm, and emotional expression. It used the method of raising first and then restraining, expressing gratitude, attachment, love, and blessing to the motherland. Although the impromptu accompaniment was very rough, Lu Chen integrated sincere feelings when singing. Among them, I love you, China's beloved mother, I shed tears for you and I'm proud of you. These two lines were repeated 10 times, each time more intense than the last. For the audience at the scene, first of all, they felt very fresh. He had never heard of such a theme work before. Lu Chen's song, I Love You China, is obviously not pure, or the kind of theme style that everyone is familiar with. It is more inclined to pop, with a lot of light rock characteristics, which is refreshing. Tian and the emotions expressed in Lu Chen's singing moved them. There was no doubt that it was a good song. At least Gao Zhixue was so engrossed that he completely ignored the flaws in the accompaniment and nodded along with the melody. He didn't even know when Gurue appeared beside him. Until Lu Chen finished singing. In the studio, there was a warm applause immediately. Although there were only 100 people present, the atmosphere was not bad. Many people even stood up and applauded. Director Gao, what do you think of this song? Gurue asked with a smile, a little proud. He took the risk to recommend Lu Chen. Lu Chen didn't let him lose face and really made him proud. Gao Zhixue came back to his senses and saw Gurue. He suddenly smiled. Yes, this song shouldn't be Lu Chen's original, right? I've never heard of it before. If such a work wasn't a new creation, it was impossible for him not to have heard of it. Gurue nodded and replied, yes. Gao Zhixue sighed, young people nowadays are really amazing. Each generation is stronger than the previous one. When Director Gao said this, he didn't notice the expression of Director Lu Jingji, who was sitting on his right. Lu Jingji frowned and suddenly reached out and patted the microphone on the table in front of his seat. Puff! Puff! He asked, this little comrade, did you write this song yourself? Lu Chen replied, yes. There was a soft hubbub in the auditorium, and everyone was praising Lu Chen's talent. Lu Jingji moved his but a little uneasily. He straightened up and said very seriously, this little comrade, the lyrics of your work are not bad. Your creative talent is worthy of recognition, but the style is not very compatible with the National Day Party. We need to reconsider. What? Gao Zhixue, Gurue, and the staff of Beijing Television were stunned. This song is not very compatible with the National Day Party. What is this? Lu Jingji probably realized that he didn't explain clearly enough, so he added, that is, the characteristics of the theme are not reflected. It is too similar to an ordinary pop song. This reason, Gao Zhixue was a little speechless. Is this nitpicking? Gurue suddenly became anxious. His face turned red in an instant and he shouted, the music director of Beijing Television appreciates Lu Chen and Lu Chen's song, I Love You China. Although this song seems a bit deviant as a theme work, both the melody and the lyrics are excellent. It should really be regarded as a unique innovation. From the glory of theme works to the decline, such innovation is needed too much, and it should be strongly encouraged and supported. How can it be beaten to death with a stick like this? Gurue's character is upright, and he immediately wants to argue with Lu Jingji. However, Gao Zhixue reacted very quickly and immediately stopped Gurue and said to Lu Jingji, let's reconsider this song, or change it to a more suitable one. Gurue is unhappy, but he is also happy in his heart. It's true that Lu Jingji's level is higher than his, but Lu Jingji is the leader of CCTV, not Beijing TV. Such an overstepping of his authority to veto the program is somewhat suspected of slapping his face on the spot. However, nominally, CCTV has the responsibility of guiding Beijing TV in many aspects. Lu Jingji came for this purpose. His reason can't be said to be completely wrong. At least, Gurue shouldn't and can't have a direct conflict with him. LV Jingji smiled and leaned back comfortably in his seat. Since he's here, He can't be a clay bodhisattva. He must make a sound. Everyone's eyes returned to the stage. Lu Chen is still standing there. Many staff members who acted as audience members showed a sympathetic look. Any newcomer who was beaten like this will probably be very depressed, right? Embarrassment are certain. But what everyone didn't expect was that Lu Chen's expression didn't change in the slightest because of Lu Xingji's denial. He pondered for a moment and said into the microphone, "Director Gu, 2 leaders, in fact, I have another work that may be more suitable. Can I sing it again?" "Ha! Sing another song." Lu Xingji couldn't help but be stunned. He turned his head and looked at Gao Zhixue, looking a little unhappy. If it's a party rehearsal of CCTV, Lu Xingji would never agree to such a request. Death was death. If everyone wanted to give him another chance, wouldn't everything be a mess? Moreover, Lu Chen is suspected of not respecting his leaders enough. But after all, this is Beijing television, and the rehearsal is a party program of Beijing television. He has just made a move once. If he makes his own decision, it would be too disrespectful to Gao Zhixue. Does he really think that the chief editorial office director is made of clay? So, Lu Xingji used his face to signal to Gao Zhixue to decide for himself. Gao Zhixue's heart seemed to be galloping with 10,000 grass mud horses. The chief editorial office director is really not made of clay. Even a clay man has 3 points of anger. He thought for a moment and said resolutely, "Lu Chen, then you sing another song." In fact, this is not in line with the rules, but Gao Zhixue doesn't want to be controlled by others on his own home ground. So many people in the station are watching. Where can he put his face? Guru A looked happy and quickly asked, "Lu Chen, do you want to go down and prepare first?" Director Gu is worried that Lu Chen is not fully prepared for the temporary song change. If he sings badly again, it will be really over. He is very reluctant to see Lu Chen lose the opportunity to go on stage. Lu Chen smiled confidently and said, "Thank you, 2 leaders, thank you Director Gu. I can sing this song without accompaniment." His smile infected Gu Rui, giving the latter an inexplicable sense of trust. He said, "All right then." Lu Chen nodded. He took a deep breath and said into the microphone, "This song is also my original work. Its name is, I Love You China." What? Everyone in the studio wondered if they had heard it wrong. Didn't Lu Chen just sing, "I Love You China"? Why is he singing, "I Love You China" now? Love again, no, sing again. Lu Xingji made a ha sound, and the expressions of Gao Zhixue and Gurue froze. Behind them, there was a burst of discussion. "I didn't hear wrong, did I? Did he say it wrong, or did I hear it wrong? Why is it, 'I Love You China' again? Is this Lu Chen confused from singing? Hee, it's a little interesting." But whether it was the faces of the TV station leaders or the criticism, it had no effect on Lu Chen. He opened his voice and directly sang another new song in the style of the main theme. The lark flies across the blue sky. I love you China, I love you China. I love you China, I love your vigorous seedlings in spring. I love your golden fruits in autumn. I love your green pine temperament. I love your red plum character. I love the sugar cane of your hometown, like milk nourishing my heart. When Lu Chen sang the first line of the lyrics with a clear and pure voice, the audience was in awe. Note, I Love You China, lyrics, Chu Tsong/composer, Xing Qiufeng. Chapter 174. Lu Chen didn't know Lu Xingji and thought that the other party was a high-level leader in Beijing television. Therefore, when Lu Xingji rejected his new song, Lu Chen couldn't be completely indifferent. Perhaps he was surprised, or ashamed, or resentful, but now that he is standing on this stage, if he wants to become a real big star, he must learn to calmly face any doubts, criticisms, and even slander. How can he see the rainbow without going through wind and rain? So, he didn't get excited to argue. Not only would it not help, but it would only leave a bad impression. But Lu Qin would never silently endure the injustice imposed by others. He resolutely proposed to sing another song. Didn't you say that it wasn't theme enough? Then let's sing a real theme song. There are countless pearls in his memory treasury, and choosing any one at random is enough to reverse the situation. And Lu Qin is lucky. First of all, he has wonderful and excellent works. Secondly, Lu Jingji is not the leader of Beijing television. Director Lu is from CCTV. In terms of rank alone, Lu Jingji is undoubtedly the highest among all the people present, but he can't be in charge of Beijing television. The support of Gao Zhixue and Guruwei gave Lu Qin a valuable opportunity. He didn't hesitate to bring out his strongest strength. This real theme song, I Love You, China, is absolutely a classic in the dream world. Its original singer is bel canto, but as long as you have enough strength, it's no problem to change to popular singing. And Lu Qin's interpretation of this song is a perfect combination of bel canto and popular singing. The lark flies across the blue sky, I love you, China. In the first line of the lyrics, Lu Qin showed off his singing voice, showing off his talent in the treble to everyone present in a way that was almost showing off, instantly shocking the audience. Like the first cry of a blue swan, his voice shook the 9 heavens. He used his own song to destroy all doubts with a crushing force. Many of the TV station staff sitting in the audience straightened their backs, and some even had their scalps tingling. They couldn't help but hold their breath and listen attentively to Lu Qin's singing. Their intuition tells them that Lu Qin is serious this time, and what he will take out again must be a blockbuster. Lu Qin did not disappoint. His voice was mellow, bright, clear, and clean. The rhythm of every single word was perfectly controlled. Amidst the majestic atmosphere, it was filled with tenderness and deep affection, and it was precisely grasped in all sorts of ways. Although it was her first time singing, and although there was no accompaniment, it felt as if she had sung it thousands of times. The first few lines were still sung in a very traditional way. Every line conformed to the norm, and the style of the main melody was incomparably distinct. Then, Lu Qin gradually added a little rock and roll flavor, and the rhythm became slightly faster, which paved the way for the following section. When it came to the line, I love your pine temperament, Lu Qin's voice changed. It was no longer mellow and bright. The rock and roll mood overflowed with the passion of the song, making people unconsciously feel that their blood was boiling in their bodies. The few lines of I love you were even more energetic and soul-stirring. At this point, he suddenly used a falsetto voice to end it so gently after being bold. In terms of singing skills alone, it was really admirable. And this was only the beginning. I love you, China, I love you, China, I want to dedicate the most beautiful song to you, my mother, my motherland. I love you, China, I love you, China, I love you, the rolling South China Sea, I love you, the snowy North Country. I love you, the boundless forest, I love you, the lofty mountains, I love you, the gurgling river, flowing through my dreams with clear waves. I love you, China, I love you, China, I want to dedicate the best youth to you, my mother, my motherland. Ah, I want to dedicate the best youth to you, my mother, my motherland. This song, I Love You, China, uses the traditional writing technique of China's Fu Bai Xing. It can be described as one chant and 3 sighs, concise words and sentences. In the lyrics, the use of repetition, parallelism and other techniques, the image and delicate portrayal of the spring seedlings and autumn fruits of the motherland, forests, mountains and rivers, fields and crops, etc., expressing the full enthusiasm and sincere patriotism for the motherland. The song is composed of 3 parts. The first part is the introduction. The rhythm is relatively free, the breath is broad, the tone is bright, high-pitched, and the melody is undulating, which brings people into the artistic realm of a lark overlooking the earth and singing loudly. The second part is the main part of the song. The rhythm is relatively flat, and the melody rises layer by layer. It is euphemistic, deep and internal. It spreads out a magnificent picture of the great rivers and mountains of the motherland, so that the theme of the work continues to deepen. The third part is the ending section. After the expression of the line, "ah," the whole song is pushed to the climax. And the last sentence of my motherland ends in the high register, containing a full of fiery patriotism, which makes people feel drunk. Lu Chen sang it in one breath, and he only sang it once. When the last sentence, "my motherland," was sung, Lu Chen's face was already red, which was the external manifestation of the use of breath to the extreme, and also the manifestation of his inner excitement. This song, in terms of singing skills alone, has reached his previous peak. Even Lu Chen himself felt a little incredible that he could sing so well, and all the negative emotions squeezed in his heart were completely vented through singing, as if he had put down a heavy burden. He felt refreshed and relaxed all over. Whether he could sing solo on Beijing Television's National Day party or not, Lu Chen had no regrets. This is the pride of a singer. The hall of Beijing Television's T1 studio was quiet, as if it had been cast with a silent magic. Clap! 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 I don't know who was the first to clap his hands, and then everyone was moved in an instant. The staff of the TV station, who acted as the audience, stood up, one after another, row after row. They didn't make any noise, they just applauded. At first, it was disorderly, but soon it became very orderly. The judges sitting at the front also applauded. The most excited one was Gurue. He stared at Lu Chen with his eyes shining, as if he had found a rare treasure. The fat on Lu Xingji's face twitched, and he also raised his palms and clapped. Whether director Lu admitted it or not, Lu Chen's singing was extremely wonderful. He was fully qualified to stand on the big stage of Beijing Television. And his second song, "I Love You China," was 100% a theme work, and it was also a fine work in its category. If Lu Xingji wanted to deny this, then he would really become a clown. Therefore, whether he was willing or not, he had to give applause to Lu Chen. Even if he felt like slapping himself in the face. The warm applause lasted for more than half a minute. If Gao Zhishua hadn't stood up and turned around to signal everyone to be quiet, I'm afraid it would have continued. This was the first time such a situation had happened in the afternoon rehearsal. Even when Chen Fei came on stage before, he didn't win such enthusiastic applause from these TV station staff. Whether they understood music or not, they all thought it was a really good song in the theme. Gao Zhishua sat down again and asked Lu Xingji with a smile, "Director Lu, do you think this song by Lu Chen is okay?" There was a hint of mockery in his eyes. Although Lu Xingji couldn't see it, he could understand the other party's thoughts. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't ashamed. But on the surface, he smiled as if nothing had happened. "Well, this song is very good. It's enough to go on CCTV. On CCTV. Gao Zhishua's pupils shrank suddenly. He forgot that CCTV also has a National Day party, and the scale and lineup are much stronger than that of Beijing TV. Lu Chen's song, "I Love You China," although the lyrics are simple and unpretentious, has a moving passion. It expresses the infinite affection for the motherland incisively and vividly, making people fully experience a strong emotion gushing out. Such a song could become a classic, and it would be a classic among the main themes. As the director of Beijing TV's editor-in-chief office and an expert in music, Gao Zhishua deeply understands how difficult it is to come up with a theme classic now. This song, "I Love You China," will undoubtedly become a highlight of the National Day party. How can it be taken away by CCTV? Gao Zhishua subconsciously wanted to refuse. But Gao Zhishua, after all, is not an ordinary person. He swallowed the words that were on the tip of his tongue. What time is it now? CCTV's National Day party rehearsal is much earlier than that of Beijing TV. It's basically impossible for Lu Xingji to push Lu Qin onto the stage of CCTV. Watching the Beijing TV party may be all the people in the entertainment circle in Beijing, and watching the stage of CCTV is the whole country. Lu Xingji is just teasing people. Old fox. Gao Zhixue secretly cursed in his heart, but said with a smile, if Director Lu is willing to recommend him, I'm very happy that Lu Qin can appear at CCTV's National Day party. Lu Qin is the champion of Singing China and a new star supported by Beijing television. If Lu Xingji really wants him, he is really willing to strongly recommend him. Lu Xingji said regretfully, it's a pity that our station's party program is full. Of course, he didn't really want Lu Qin. He just said that to save face. The two old foxes were scheming against each other. Gurue next to them couldn't sit still. He didn't have time to ask Gao Zhixue. He said into the microphone, Lu Qin, your work is more wonderful. Then use this song. Can you bring a complete accompaniment to the rehearsal on the 25th? Lu Qin said confidently, no problem. Of course, there is no problem. Even if he works day and night, he will ask someone to arrange and produce the accompaniment. Gurue said with a smile, that's all right. His EQ is not too low. Then he asked Gao Zhixue, Director Gao, what do you think? Gao Zhixue nodded with a smile, okay, then it's settled. As a result, Lu Qin's I Love You China has been officially determined as one of the solo programs at Beijing TV's National Day party. Comrade Xiao Lu, wait first. Just when Lu Qin was about to leave the stage, Lu Xingji suddenly stopped him. Lu Qin was stunned. The director of CCTV's Literature and Arts Program Department asked with a smile, do you want your work to appear at CCTV's National Day party? Chapter 175. CCTV's National Day Gala. These simple words seem to possess some sort of magical power, causing everyone present to involuntarily cry out in surprise. In China, China's Central Television is undoubtedly an overlord. It is the highest-level TV broadcasting organization representing the government. Its strength and heritage are incomparable to all satellite TV stations combined. Being able to perform at CCTV's gala is the dream of countless artists, especially the annual Spring Festival Gala. Its ratings are as high as 90%, which is a shortcut to reach the sky in one step. Of course, the National Day Gala can't be compared with the Spring Festival Gala, but it's also a top stage that newcomers like Lu Qin can't reach. Without enough contacts and qualifications, don't even think about setting foot in it. Now Lu Xingji actually asked Lu Qin if he wanted to go up, which made everyone's glasses fall to the ground on the spot. Isn't this a bit too exaggerated? Gao Zhixue couldn't believe it. Director Lu, are you kidding me? Gurue was directly dumbfounded. Is it really going to be intercepted by CCTV? CCTV intercepting Beijing TV programs has really happened before. Who made the relationship between the two so complicated? But Lu Qin didn't get carried away. He had an instinctive sense of vigilance against the big-bellied leader and didn't think the other party would let him off so easily. Lu Qin thought for a moment and asked, excuse me, leader, is it just my work? Because he was sober enough, he grasped the core of the problem. Does he want the person, or just the work? The difference is too big. Gao Zhixue and Gurue reacted and looked at Lu Xingji. Lu Xingji said with a smile, Comrade Xiao Lu, your song is very good. I think it is qualified to be on a bigger stage, but the performers of our CCTV National Day Gala are all in place, hee. His meaning was very clear. The person couldn't be changed, but it was fine to change the song. Lu Xingji wanted to intercept the song, I Love You, China. As for Lu Qin, wanting to be on the stage of CCTV, that could only be a hee-hee. In fact, to be fair, it was already a great honor for Lu Chen's work to appear on CCTV's gala. Even if Lu Jingji wanted to change the song, it would take some effort. He had his own plans. Although Gao Zhixue and Gurue were glaring at him, LV Jingji was still calm and confident. He didn't think that Lu Chen would reject his suggestion. As long as one wasn't a fool, one wouldn't miss such an opportunity to build a relationship with Central TV. In comparison, what was Beijing television? Moreover, even if Lu Chen didn't sing, "I Love You, China," he still had another song. Of course, the song had to be renamed. It would not do to have the same name. However, no matter how well director Lu thought, he didn't understand Lu Chen. Lu Chen smiled and said, "Thank you, leader, but I want to sing this work on the stage of Beijing television." His attitude was polite, but his tone was firm. Lu Chen was more or less surprised that Lu Jingji was the leader of Central TV. Lu Jingji's suggestion also made Lu Chen's heart waver for a moment. This was Central TV they were talking about. But Lu Chen quickly calmed down. Lu Jingji only wanted his work, and his arrogant attitude made Lu Chen feel disgusted. Most importantly, if Lu Chen gave up "I Love You, China" for the immediate benefits, it would be equivalent to slapping Beijing television in the face, and it would definitely make Gurue, who had always supported him, disappointed. Therefore, it was destined that Lu Chen wouldn't agree. Perhaps in the eyes of others, his decision was very stupid, but Lu Chen had his own principles and beliefs. As a man, there were things he shouldn't do, and things he must do. Even if it might offend the leader of Central TV. Lu Jingji's smile instantly froze. He didn't expect that Lu Chen would reject it directly. He didn't even think about it. This made him feel very embarrassed. However, Lu Jingji was very shrewd. He immediately smiled and said, "Well, that doesn't matter. The decision is up to you." Although that was what he said, there was still a resentful look in his eyes. He really didn't know what was good for him. Gao Zhixue and Gurue looked at each other. No one expected Lu Chen to be so courageous. Gao Zhixue coughed and said, "Lu Chen, then you go back and quickly prepare the arrangement." He was ready to be slapped in the face by Lu Jingji, but the result was really unexpected. A newborn calf is not afraid of a tiger. At this moment, Gao Zhixue, like Gurue, had a trace of love for Lu Chen. If such a young man didn't die prematurely, his future was limitless. Lu Chen bowed and then left the stage. His rehearsal for today was over, so he went backstage to get his things and left. As a result, as soon as he got out of the gate of the TV station, Lu Chen was stopped. The other party looked very capable in a suit and leather shoes, and his attitude was also polite. "Mr. Lu Chen, Miss Chen Fei wants to see you. Is it convenient for you now?" "Sister Fei." Lu Chen vaguely remembered that this man in a suit was Chen Fei's attendant, so he didn't think much about it. "Where is she?" Led by the man in a suit, Lu Chen came to the parking lot of the TV station. The man in a suit opened the door of a silver-gray extended Mercedes-Benz business car, bowed and made an inviting gesture to him. Lu Chen nodded and leaned over to get into the car. The man in a suit immediately closed the door. The space inside the business car was unexpectedly large, and the interior was luxurious. 2 rows of leather sofas were placed opposite each other, and there was a coffee table, a small bar, a refrigerator, a TV, and other equipment. There was no smell in the car, but a faint fragrance wafted in the air. Chen Fei sat alone on the sofa. When she saw Lu Chen come in, she smiled sweetly and said, "Lu Chen, I hope you don't mind that I invited you here like this. There are a lot of reporters outside." Today was the first rehearsal of Beijing Television's National Day Party. Many stars and artists came, so there were a lot of entertainment reporters, commonly known as paparazzi, squatting outside the building of the TV station. If Chin Fei waited for Lu Qin at the door in person, it was estimated that they could make up a groundless scandal if they were photographed by the reporters. The parking lot of the TV station was closed and managed. One could enter and exit with a card, so there was no need to worry about the paparazzi's camera here. Lu Qin understood. Sister Fei, if there's anything, just say it. As long as I, Xiao Lu, can do it, just say it. Chin Fei was a senior who had been in the industry for many years, and she was also a big artist in the circle. Most importantly, she had taken care of Lu Qin. Lu Qin always remembered this favor, but he was afraid that he would not have the opportunity to repay it. After all, the gap between the status of the two was too big. Chin Fei pursed her lips and said with a smile, "It sounds so nice. You must be very good at coaxing girls, right?" The queen of sweet song was really a natural beauty. She wore light makeup today, but there were no flaws on her delicate and beautiful face. Her bright eyes and white teeth made people feel close to her. And she didn't have the slightest arrogance in front of Lu Qin. In addition, it must be pointed out that she was a fully mature woman, but mixed with the innocence of a young girl, forming a strange seductive charm, which was infinitely expanded in the narrow space in the car. Lu Qin's mental fortitude was very strong, but he still felt a sense of suffocation sitting opposite her. For her teasing, Lu Qin could only smile bitterly. Chin Fei said with a smile, "Well, I won't joke with you. I just want to ask, the song you just sang, I Love You China, is it your own work?" Lu Qin was surprised. "Sister Fei, have you seen my rehearsal?" Chin Fei nodded. "Yes, I can see it in the backstage VIP room. I was going to leave, but your song made me stay. Both songs are very good and wonderful." Her eyes were bright. "I prefer the latter song, I Love You China. You sang it so well." Being stared at so closely by the queen of sweet song, Lu Qin felt a little stressed. "Thank you." Chin Fei smiled heartily and said, "So I just want to ask, can you authorize me to cover this song?" "So that's how it is." Lu Qin understood and replied without hesitation, "No problem at all. In fact, Sister Fei, you can ask someone to call me." Chin Fei said seriously, "That's not the same. It's true that Lu Qin is a newcomer, but the talent he has shown in writing has even surpassed many well-known songwriters, and is completely worthy of her looking at him differently." In the circle, the status of singer-songwriters has always been very high. If Lu Qin can always maintain a strong creative inspiration and come up with more fine works, he will inevitably achieve a high position. Chin Fei is not so close and kind to all newcomers, especially men. Lu Qin's creative strength made her respect him. Especially the song I Love You China, just now, which even shocked Chin Fei. Although in the pop music world, Chin Fei still maintains the reputation of the Queen of Heaven, she knows very well that the sweet songs and love songs she is good at have lost their market among the young people of the new era. If she doesn't want to be silent, Chin Fei must transform. But this is obviously not an easy thing. Because everyone is used to her image, her voice and style. If the transformation is not successful, the consequences will be very serious. Of course, Lu Qin's song, I Love You China, can't help her transform immediately. She has no intention of developing into a theme singer for the time being, but at least this is a road, and she once again saw the amazing talent of Lu Qin. Chin Fei is a very smart woman. She decisively invited Lu Qin to talk privately and wanted to buy the cover rights of this song. What she really wants is to establish an important cooperative relationship with Lu Qin. Lu Qin didn't let her down. Chin Fei was suddenly in a good mood. "That's great." She thought about it and said, "I'll treat you to dinner tonight. You promised to write a song for me. We can talk while we eat. How about this, you decide the place to eat, and I'll pay the bill. Are you driving?" Lu Qin, He can't keep up with the thinking of the Queen of Sweet Song at all. Chapter 176. As the sky gradually darkened, the street lights on both sides of the street were all lit up, and night was about to fall. Lu Qin drove his Zhonghua X7 city, moving in the rolling traffic at a speed of no more than 10 yards per hour. Although Beijing had taken off the hat of blocking the city a few years ago, the roads in Beijing's second and third ring road were still very crowded during the evening rush hour, and traffic jams often occurred, which made people helpless. Hello, listeners and friends, this is Beijing Music Radio FM 102.6. The following song is from Qin Fei, Er's Happy Angel, wishing everyone a good night. Listening to the FM radio from the car radio, Lu Qin couldn't help turning his head to the right. In the passenger seat, a woman in a t-shirt and jeans was sitting. Big and small English letters were printed all over the white t-shirt, which was as wide as a bat. Set off by splash ink multiple colors, it was full of postmodernist exaggeration, which was exactly the style that trendy young people like. The material of the dark blue jeans was very thin, and the surface was torn with many holes, revealing the white jade-like skin inside. She had a fluffy ponytail, a thick purple eyeshadow on her face, a pair of color-framed flat glasses on the delicate and small bridge of her nose, and her red lips were shocking like fire. Her left and right earlobes were hung with long purple gold wire earrings, shining in the flashing headlights from time to time. Such a style is very common in the personal space of QQ Group and QQ Group, basically from those post-90s girls who crazily love selfies. They chase fashion and color and like personalized decoration, even if it looks very exaggerated. But this one, Lu Qin was really speechless. He never dreamed that Qin Fei could dress up like this. If an entertainment reporter photographed Qin Fei style, and left all his assistants and entourage behind to go shopping and eat with him, it was estimated that he would be able to occupy the headlines tomorrow. His image would be completely ruined. Is there a Queen of Sweet Song? Is there a Jade Girl leader? Is there a goddess who is the center of attention? All of them are going to be destroyed. Lu Qin felt a pain in his balls, and he was under a lot of pressure. Why did he agree? Alright, Lu Qin had to admit that the temptation of bringing a heavenly queen shopping was irresistible. It was obviously not the first time for Qin Fei to play like this. Previously, he got out of the Mercedes-Benz business car and waited outside for just over half an hour. When he saw that the heavenly queen had completely changed her appearance. Even if she walked openly on the bustling street, no one would be able to tell her true identity. Qin Fei noticed Lu Qin's gaze and seemed to know what he was thinking. He said softly, "People like us don't have our own lives to speak of. It feels like we are living for someone else. We look glamorous on the surface, but we have to bear a lot of pressure behind the scenes. I'm not surprised that something happened to Brother Wang Bin, because he started that way a long time ago, and he couldn't control it. I don't want to use that kind of self-destructive way to relieve pressure, so when I have a chance, I run out and become an ordinary person. I go shopping, buy clothes, eat things I usually don't dare to eat, go to the amusement park to ride roller coasters, go to the arcade to play games." She told her story, mixing it with her voice that came from the radio station. Lu Qin was silent. After a while, he asked curiously, "Sister Fei, you ran out with me like this, isn't it? Wasn't Qin Fei afraid of being worried? After all, he was a young and strong man. If she really suffered a loss, she could only swallow it herself. What are you thinking?" Qin Fei rolled her eyes at him and said, "I think you are my younger brother. My younger brother is the same age as you." She smiled and said, "If I could be 10 years younger, I would really consider you." Qin Fei had never been shy about her age. She was 30 years old this year, 8 years older than Lu Qin. She was very fond of Lu Qin. She appreciated his talent and believed in his character. Lu Chen smiled bitterly and rubbed his nose, speechless. Chen Feier blinked and asked, Lu Chen, you don't have a girlfriend yet, do you? Lu Chen nodded. Yes, I don't have such thoughts for the time being. Chen Feier sighed and said, that's true. Us artists are also different from ordinary people in love. We are always exposed to the flashing lights, and we are often separated from each other. She suddenly said, Xiao Chu likes you very much. Don't you think about it? She is a very cute girl. Xiao Chu. Lu Chen was stunned, and soon realized that Chen Feier was talking about Mu Xiao Chu. He shook his head and said, I think Xiao Chu is my younger sister. Hearing Lu Chen's answer, Chen Feier suddenly smiled. She just said that Lu Chen was her younger brother. The Queen of Sweet Song smiled beautifully, and even heavy makeup couldn't cover it. The atmosphere in the car became warm and harmonious. Even the stagnant traffic started to move. When Lu Chen parked the car in the parking lot near Shikahai, it was already dark. In the evening, Chen Feier invited him to dinner, but she didn't want to go to a luxury restaurant or a 5-star hotel. Instead, she wanted to eat the special snacks of the old capital, so she came to Shikahai. Shikahai's snack street was famous throughout the capital, gathering dozens of century-old brands such as Yushengzai, fried tripe foam, tea soup li, rice cake money, cheese whey, sheep head horse, tofu white and so on. Originally, Shikahai's snack street was hidden in Xiaoyu Alley next to Song Qingling's former residence. It was a large square courtyard, which could only accommodate hundreds of customers at the same time at most. Later, because the business was too hot, the government replanned the construction, connecting the old alley and the new pedestrian street, adding more food and snacks from all over the country and even foreign countries, and combined with the surrounding modern shopping malls, forming an integrated pattern of eating, drinking, playing, and shopping. Business was booming here every day, especially at 6 or 7 o'clock, when there were so many people. I want to eat fried tripe, rice cake, tofu pudding. Chen Feier took Lu Chen's arm and said, there are also mutton skewers, shumai, soup dumplings, lemon juice. Walking on the antique old street, the two followed the crowd, like an ordinary couple. Chen Feier is more than 1.7 meters tall. Even without wearing high heels, she looks very good beside Lu Chen. Lu Chen was surprised. Can you eat it? Aren't you afraid of getting fat? Chen Feier laughed. No, I'm not afraid. I only eat it once or twice every few months. Lu Chen also relaxed. It's good that you're not afraid. Then let's eat to our heart's content, eat if we want to eat. If Chen Feier was not afraid, what did he have to be afraid of? That's right. Chen Feier laughed. We're out to relax, so don't think too much. Being happy is the most important thing. In other words, they are willful. So, the two willful people first ran to a stall selling mutton skewers, and Lu Chen asked the stall owner for 10 skewers. Spicy. Okay. The stall owner quickly counted out 10 freshly roasted mutton skewers and skillfully sprinkled chili powder on it, 50 yuan. A mutton skewer costs 5 yuan. Lu Chen took the mutton but did not pay. The one who paid was Chen Feier. She took out money from her kawaii bag that was at most 50 yuan and handed it to the stall owner. Thank you for your patronage. When the stall owner took the money, he gave Lu Chen a disdainful look. Big and handsome boy actually let a girl pay for him when he came out to play and eat. He is either a softie or a woman. What a waste of his good looks. Lu Chen did not know whether to laugh or cry. On the way, Chen Feier stressed that he was responsible for buying and carrying things, and she was responsible for paying. As a result, he was despised. Chen Feier smiled and took a few mutton skewers from Lu Chen's hand, and eagerly stuffed them into her mouth. After chewing a few mouthfuls of meat and swallowing, she opened her mouth and breathed hard. So spicy, so spicy. Her face was bitter. Lu Chen hurriedly bought a freshly squeezed orange juice from the stall and handed it to Chen Feier. So cool. Chen Feier obviously could not eat spicy food, but after taking a sip of juice, she continued to eat the mutton skewers. This kind of valiant and fearless spirit made Lu Chen admire him very much. However, if her unscrupulous and unladylike image of her eating and drinking were to be seen by her fans, who knew how many people's hearts would be broken? Eating mutton skewers, the two continued to walk forward, stopping when they saw something they wanted to eat. Rice cakes, tofu pudding, shumai, soup dumplings. They walked and ate along the way, not thinking about anything else, just eating. In the end, halfway through the long snack street, Chen Feier's stomach was so full that she could not walk anymore. She was also very regretful. There is still a lot of delicious food later. Lu Chen smiled. Come back next time. Let's go to the pedestrian street and rest for a while. In front of them was the intersection of the snack street and pedestrian street. Turning right was the shopping mall. There were fewer people on the pedestrian street that led directly to the shopping mall, and there were open-air tea houses and coffee shops on both sides. There were also benches for tourists to rest on. Lu Chen and Chen Feier found an empty bench and sat down. They were not tired, but a little full. Chen Feier greedily ordered a lot of things, and after tasting a bit of everything, she gave the rest to Lu Chen. Lu Chen's stomach was also limited. Ha! Chen Feier's eyes suddenly lit up, and she elbowed Lu Chen. Listen. Lu Chen heard it. The brightest star in the night sky. Can you hear clearly the loneliness and sigh in the heart of the person who looks up? The song was The Brightest Star in the Night Sky. He could not help but turn his head in the direction of the song. He saw a street singer was playing and singing in the middle of the pedestrian street about 10 meters away. He was singing Lu Chen's song. The brightest star in the night sky. Can you remember the figure that once walked with me and disappeared in the wind? Lu Chen could not help but smile. Chapter 177. In Beijing, there are many street singers. They come from all over the world, and most of them come to this super big city with the dream of becoming famous. They are eager to use their talent to embark on a bright path to stardom, stand on the stage of tens of thousands of people, and be admired by everyone. But among these people, 99% of them can't realize their dreams. Their dreams and passion will be worn down and extinguished by life in the big city, and in the end, they will struggle to survive. Many singers can't find a way out and can only wander on the streets, singing in squares, underground passages, and roadsides. On the one hand, it is to earn the cost of basic living, and on the other hand, they are eager to be discovered by Bo Lu. In the entertainment industry and pop music world, there are really many examples of street singers becoming famous. Among the street singers, some people really have the strength and talent. It's just that they are unlucky. The singer who sang The Brightest Star in the Night Sky on the pedestrian street is very young, at most 20 years old. He is thin and not very tall, and his ordinary face has a trace of childishness. A guitar, a microphone, an electric stereo, and an open guitar case placed on the ground. A standard set of singing. Unfortunately, the singer's guitar playing is not bad, and the notes are very accurate, but his singing and voice are average. Therefore, his performance can't attract the attention of pedestrians, make them stop to listen, or throw money into the box. There were too many street performers in the capital, so no one was surprised. Unless there is a highlight and special feature, ordinary people are not willing to pay. Although not welcomed and appreciated, the young street singer still sang seriously and stood there stubbornly. Looking at him, Lu Chen suddenly remembered himself when he first came to Beijing. His heart is full of emotions. If it weren't for that dream, I'm afraid that he would still be a waiter and part-time singer and forget grass bar, working hard to survive and pay off debts, and never seeing the hope of life. Lu Chen is looking at the singer, and Chen Fei is looking at Lu Chen with interest. The heavenly queen of Jade Maidens suddenly said, "He doesn't sing well. He ruined your song. Go and teach him." There was a sly look in her eyes, as if she couldn't wait to watch a good show. Lu Chen was stunned. "That's not good, is it?" Chen Fei laughed and said, "What's wrong with that? In fact, you're helping him. Otherwise, I don't think he'll be able to earn any money. Maybe he'll go hungry after paying the venue fee today." In Beijing, one could not simply perform as one wished. One needed to apply to the city's administrative agency. After obtaining a permit, one could perform at a specified location. Different places had to pay different venue fees. Some were free, and some were very expensive. The flow of people here was very dense. It was not easy to apply for a spot, nor was it cheap. If he couldn't earn back the rent, he might really starve. "Just take it as," Chen Fei tilted his head and said, "Sing this song for me." Lu Chen thought for a moment, then stood up and walked towards the other party. Since the singer chose his song, he must like it and could be considered a fan. "Then I'll help him and encourage him." Walking to the front of the singer and waiting for him to finish a paragraph, Lu Chen asked with a smile, "Hello, I also want to sing this song. Can you accompany me?" The singer was stunned. He didn't notice Lu Chen at first. It wasn't until Lu Chen made the request that he realized that Lu Chen looked familiar. "You?" The street singer suddenly opened his eyes wide, revealing a look of surprise. "You are," he obviously recognized Lu Chen. Before the other party said his name, Lu Chen asked seriously, "Okay?" Okay. The young singer was so excited that his face turned red. He nodded repeatedly and said, No problem." Never in his wildest dreams did he expect that his cover of a very popular song would attract the attention of the original singer. Lu Chen. This probability. Was he winning the lottery? He stuttered and added, My name is Guohan Dong. Mr. Dong was Gua. "Hello, my name is Lu Chen." Lu Chen smiled and raised his hand to hold the microphone. The dialogue between the two, amplified by the microphone and speakers, attracted the curious attention of many people around. Guohan took a few deep breaths, then clenched his teeth and played the prelude. Lu Chen nodded gently to the beat and opened his mouth to sing. "The brightest star in the night sky, can you remember the figure that once walked with me and disappeared in the wind?" His clear and clean voice instantly rang out in the bustling pedestrian street and drilled into people's ears. "The brightest star in the night sky, can you remember the figure that once walked with me and disappeared in the wind? I pray to have a transparent heart and eyes that can cry, give me the courage to believe again, oh, to embrace you through lies. Whenever I can't find the meaning of existence, whenever I am lost in the night, oh, the brightest star in the night sky. Please guide me close to you." In Lu Chen's singing, the people sitting in chairs around him raised their heads one after another, and several girls showed a surprised look, as if they had discovered something incredible. Many passers-by stopped and focused their eyes on Lu Chen and Guohan. Puzzled, surprised, curious, there were also people who quickly ran over after hearing the song and gathered in front of the two of them. "It sounds like the original singer. What do you mean by very similar? Don't you recognize it? This is the original singer, Lu Chen. He wrote the song." "Really? It seems to be true. I've watched the Singing China competition. He's the champion, Lu Chen. So handsome, and he sings so well." Among the people who gathered around, there were many girls. They recognized Lu Chen and were all excited. However, the quality of the people in the capital is very high. Everyone keeps a distance, and even if they talk, they keep their voices down. Many girls took out their mobile phones to take pictures of Lu Qin, and the ones standing in the front even squatted down, so as not to affect the people behind them to shoot or watch. More and more people gathered around. Lu Qin didn't expect such a scene. Because his official debut time is very short, Lu Qin has not yet realized that he has become a star artist. He didn't wear sunglasses or a mask when he went shopping, and he didn't think he could attract attention. However, Lu Qin underestimated the influence of his work. Not to mention the high ratings of Singing China, the album, You Who Sat Next to Me, which has just been released, has brought him a lot of popularity. This song, which was included in the album, has been sung and famous both on the internet and on the radio. So, as the original singer, it attracted a lot of people's attention in an instant. Fortunately, the onlookers were in good order, and Lu Qin was able to continue singing calmly. He saw Chen Fei also appear in the crowd of onlookers, smiling like a fox who had just stolen a hen. Very proud kind. The brightest star in the night sky, can you hear the loneliness and sigh in the bottom of the heart of the person who looks up? After singing the last few words softly and gently, Lu Qin let go of his hands, took a step back, and bowed to everyone. While warm applause immediately rang out. Lu Qin smiled and said, "Thank you for your support." Someone reacted and immediately took out money from his pocket and put it in the piano case on the ground. Others followed suit, and the box, which originally had only a few yuan of change, was quickly piled up with a high layer of banknotes. Guohan's face turned red, and he was so excited that he couldn't speak. A bold girl came up and asked, "Lu Qin, can I take a picture with you?" It was really new for Lu Qin to be asked by fans to take a picture with him. He smiled and nodded, "Of course." "Ah!" The girl screamed and immediately rushed up, hugged Lu Qin's arm tightly, and leaned her head on his shoulder. Her movements were very skilled. Her companion took several photos with her mobile phone. After satisfying one, there was another. In addition to taking a picture, there were also people asking for autographs. Interestingly, Lu Qin's fans were basically girls. In fact, there were a lot of boys watching, but they were very reserved and did not want to take a selfie with Lu Qin. After all, the current Lu Qin was only a singer with a little fame, not a famous superstar. In Beijing, where there were a lot of people, his appearance would not cause a sensation. If it was Chen Fei, the situation would definitely be completely different. After finally satisfying the requirements of the girls, Lu Qin was finally able to get away. He said to Guohan, "Come on, work hard." Guohan nodded and finally said, "Thank you." Lu Qin smiled and patted him on the shoulder, then stepped away and walked towards the shopping mall ahead. After a while, Chen Fei caught up from behind and walked side by side with him. The Queen of Sweet Song asked with a smile, "How do you feel?" Lu Qin thought about it seriously and said, "Not bad." The feeling of being liked and admired was very good, very good. Chen Fei sighed, "But when you get used to it and encounter it often, you will feel bored and even painful. But at that time, if you want to take the initiative to give up these things, I'm afraid you won't be able to do it." Lu Qin asked, "Then what do you think I should do?" Chen Fei said with a smile, "It's very simple. Drink today and get drunk today. Enjoy the present, young man." Lu Qin was speechless. Chen Fei suddenly said, "I want to drink beer, a big cup." Lu Qin was surprised. "Sister Fei, can you still drink? Besides, you ate spicy food and drank at night, it's bad for your throat." Chen Fei's voice was recognized as a golden voice in the circle. Chen Fei stared at him and interrupted, "Just say whether you want to accompany me or not." Lu Qin thought about it seriously again and said, "I don't want to." Chapter 178. Golden Crown KTV, Private Room 158. The music had just been turned off, and Lu Qin was speechless as he looked at Chen Feier, who was leaning on his shoulder. The Queen of Sweet Song tilted her head, her black hair fell on the sofa, her pretty face was flushed, and her red eyes were half closed. Lu Qin could smell the faint smell of alcohol on her breath. Chen Feier was drunk. At her insistence, Lu Qin came to the chain KTV on the top floor of the mall to sing. The two ordered half a box of small Budweiser and a lot of snacks. Chatting, drinking, singing, and guessing the dice. Chen Feier had a good time. The same was true for Lu Qin. He hadn't been so relaxed for a long time. He didn't have to think about anything and just followed his mood. And the one who accompanied him to play was a real heavenly queen of the music industry. Of the 12 330 milliliters bottles of beer, Chen Feier drank 5 of them. If it wasn't for Lu Qin stopping her, it was estimated that she would have drunk more. As a result, now that she was drunk, she leaned against Lu Qin and fell asleep. What made Lu Qin speechless was that the Queen of Sweet Song believed too much in his character, right? If he wanted to do something bad, Lu Qin's eyes fell on Chen Feier's pretty face, and suddenly had an evil thought. Sister Fei, Sister Fei. He called out softly twice, but as expected, there was no response. Lu Qin's mouth evoked a wicked smile, and he quietly extended his sinful hand to the drunk Chen Feier. He pinched her cheek very, very lightly. Little girl, today you finally fell into the hands of this uncle. It's useless even if you shout until your throat breaks. Give this uncle a smile first. Lu Qin laughed wickedly, but quickly retracted his hand. His heart was very satisfied. He really wanted to take a picture, and then post it on his blog with the title, "A Rich Young Man Got Chen Feier Drunk in KTV, and the Poor Heavenly Queen's Chastity Can't Be Protected." Thinking about that scene, it was simply too beautiful. After fantasizing for a moment, Lu Qin, who had ended his dark transformation, took out his phone and called Chen Feier's assistant. Since Chen Feier was so drunk, she had to ask her assistant to send her back. After telling the other party the address, Lu Qin ended the call. However, as soon as he put down his phone, he was stunned. Chen Feier turned his head and rested his chin on his shoulder, revealing a smile that could make all living things go crazy. Her eyes were misty, and her red lips parted as she asked in a soft voice, "Sir, do I smile like this?" Lu Qin wished he could find a hole to hide in. So Chen Feier wasn't really drunk. He was caught red-handed on the spot. He could only admit his mistake with a bitter face. "Sister Fei, I was wrong." Chen Feier giggled and said, "If you know you're wrong, you're still a good boy. But if you do something wrong, you have to be punished. As punishment, write 2 songs for me. It must be the kind that sounds good, otherwise." She clenched her fist and shook it at Lu Qin. "I've learned Taekwondo." Lu Qin felt as if he had been pardoned. 2 songs are no problem. Chen Feier proudly picked up her bag, got up and said, "Let's go and wait for Sister Zhang downstairs." Sister Zhang was Chen Feier's assistant. After paying the bill, the two of them took the elevator downstairs and saw Sister Zhang at the door. She and the other entourage must have been waiting nearby, so they came when summoned. Chen Feier turned to Lu Qin and said, "I won't see you off. Don't drive by yourself. Be careful." Lu Qin nodded. "Goodbye, Sister Fei." Chen Feier blinked her eyes and suddenly stood on tiptoe to kiss Lu Qin's face. Lu Qin was suddenly petrified. Sister Zhang, who was standing at the door, was also stunned when she saw this scene. Since Chen Feier's debut, she had been with Chen Feier. She was closer than Chen Feier's family. But Sister Zhang had never seen Chen Feier so close to another man. Chen Feier smiled and said, "Thank you for accompanying me so happily. This is a thank you gift. Don't think too much." She waved and turned to leave, sprinkling a string of silver bell-like laughter. Lu Qin watched Qin Feier's figure disappear into the night. After a while, he touched the wet marks on his face. He smiled bitterly. If this scene was secretly photographed by the entertainment paparazzi in the capital, it was estimated that he would definitely make the headlines. She was really not afraid. In fact, the next day, on September 18th, the man who really made the headlines was Wang Bin. Wang Bin was arrested. Another superstar in the prison storm. How did the good man Wang Bin fall? The people of Chaoyang district have made a new contribution again. Count the entertainment industry stars who were arrested this year. Falling into the abyss at the age of 40, Wang Bin was destroyed. In the entertainment section of major mainstream magazines, portals, and even the home page of the main page, all published the shocking disappearance of Wang Bin after he was arrested for drug abuse. The media fell into a collective carnival and began to dig the dark curtain of the entertainment industry. Although Wang Bin was not the top superstar, he debuted very early and belonged to the old generation in the circle. Moreover, he was also a film, television, and singer artist. He had always had a good image and was known as a good man of the new era. However, the image of this good man in the eyes of the public was destroyed in an instant, causing an earthquake in the circle. Some media revealed that Wang Bin did not only take drugs by himself, but also gathered people. At the same time, many of his friends in the circle were arrested. It was not even the first time, and many artists were involved. This media did not directly name names, but used L and C as a proxy. As a result, it caused countless speculation on the blog, causing many innocent star artists to be implicated, and they could only issue a public statement to refute the rumors. For a time, many ghosts and snakes emerged, and the number of visitors to the Waves blog soared several times. But these ups and downs had little to do with Lu Qin. What was related to Lu Qin was that his debut solo album, You Who Sat Next to Me, was on QQ Music Online for 10 days, with sales reaching 347,202 copies, close to 350,000. In the future, there was basically no suspense for it to break through 500,000 and achieve platinum. For a new singer who has just made his debut, such a result was simply against the natural order, and it was completely worth holding a grand celebration. Most importantly, the success of You Who Sat Next to Me has greatly encouraged the local original power of the domestic pop music industry. It has made many songwriters and singers discover that nostalgic folk songs still have great market potential to be tapped. Campus folk songs, a folk song category created by Lu Qin, has begun to take root in people's hearts and become popular quietly. Many entertainment companies and artists and singers are planning to withdraw from the same genre of works in an attempt to get a share of this market. And more people are directly staring at Lu Qin, and there are more and more phone calls to Lu Qin Studio and Lu Shi. At present, there are 7 entertainment record companies inviting you to sing songs. I've given all of them, but I haven't replied yet. In the general manager's office, Lu Shi held a stack of printed paper and reported to Lu Qin on the recent business situation. 2 of them are very sincere and should be able to negotiate, mainly about price and copyright. You Who Sat Next to Me was a big seller. Lu Qin asked Lu Shi to raise the price of his work to 350,000, and also retain part of the copyright, such as the very important cover rights and foreign copyright. This price tag has reached the level of first class or even top writers in the industry. In the eyes of outsiders, it is simply an exorbitant price, and it will certainly scare away many units who are interested in cooperation. However, now Lu Qin will never easily write songs for others. As the saying goes, the rarer something is, the more precious it is. Although there are countless classics and fine works in his memory, he still has to sell them at a low price. On the one hand, Lu Qin doesn't want to wholesale these works from the dream world like cabbages. On the other hand, he also wants to set up his own style in the circle and industry. It's so expensive, buy it or not, it's up to you. Today's Lu Qin has such confidence and confidence. A quarter of his family's big debt has been paid off by him, and the pressure has been greatly reduced. Moreover, if the online crowdfunding plan is implemented smoothly, it will not be a problem to pay off all the debts in one fell swoop. Under such circumstances, Lu Chen is naturally able to hold his bottom line. And it can be predicted that in the future, his position on the works he owns will only get higher and higher. 350,000. It's just the beginning. Lu Chen said without hesitation, the price is not negotiable. If there are requirements for copyright, then increase the price. Lu Shi nodded without surprise. In this regard, Lu Chen's insistence was correct. She turned a page in her hand and continued, in terms of advertising endorsements, there are currently 3 companies in negotiations. One of them, Silver Horse Advertising Company, has proposed an endorsement contract for Senki Sportswear. I feel very good and am ready to agree for you. Senki Sportswear. Lu Chen's eyes lit up. What's their offer? Senki is a new clothing brand in the market, focusing on the sports consumer market of young people, so it has a lot of advertising investment in major media. It is not surprising to find Lu Chen. For most star artists, advertising endorsements have always been the focus of making money. Top superstars can earn tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of yuan a year in this regard. Especially in recent years, the international and domestic economic recovery has led to the growth of the consumer market, and the endorsement fees of stars have naturally risen. Lu Shi said, the endorsement contract provided by Silver Horse Advertising Company is 800,000 yuan a year, mainly for shooting promotional posters and a TV advertisement. If you are needed to be present for publicity, then the appearance fee will be calculated separately, 800,000 yuan. Compared with the endorsement fee of A-list stars, this price is only a fraction, but for newcomers, it is already very good, because shooting such posters and TV advertisements is also a promotion for yourself. Lu Chen nodded, yes, you can do this for me. There have been advertisers who came to him in the past, but the endorsement contracts provided were very unreliable, and Lu Shi rejected them all. Senki's brand positioning is mid-range, and it focuses on sports and health, which is very suitable for his image. Lu Shi smiled and said, I hope to add 1 million yuan. If you are more famous, there will be no problem. Lu Chen laughed. But whether it was Lu Chen or Lu Shi, they didn't expect that just a few days later, his reputation really went up another level. Chapter 179. From the time Wang Bin was arrested on the 17th to the short period of 3 days on the 20th, the domestic entertainment industry experienced a storm baptism. Several star artists were found to have participated in the seniors' party, and some have even been taken away by the police to assist in the investigation, and their reputation and future were ruined. For a time, the circle was in a state of panic, and everyone felt insecure, and even all kinds of publicity hype stopped a lot. And in the Waves blog, it was simply a group of demons dancing. All kinds of big V, small v, and speculators stirred up trouble. Gossip rumors and even rumors were flying everywhere, causing many innocent artists to be shot. Although Beijing Television was not an artist star, it was also shot. In fact, Beijing Television was not too unjustly shot, because as early as half a month ago, the official revealed the news that Wang Bin and Chen Feier and other big stars were invited to participate in the National Day Party, and even interviewed Wang Bin in the program to build momentum. As a result, who would have thought that Wang Bin would make such a big mistake? Although the official V of Beijing Television quickly issued an announcement to cancel all cooperation with Wang Bin and replace his performance program, the impact has already been made. Because the media revealed that Wang Bin's drug abuse was not a day or two, and started a long time ago. As a local snake in the capital, did Beijing Television really know nothing about it? Knowing the situation and still inviting Wang Bin to participate in such an important party, is that not encouraging the bad atmosphere in the circle? Some people even accused Beijing Television of hitting Wang Bin when he was down. Most of these doubts and accusations were untenable, but the internet was like this. Even if it was unreasonable, it would stir up some trouble, not to mention that some people deliberately stirred up trouble, which made Beijing television somewhat passive. However, Beijing television was not a vegetarian, and soon launched a counterattack in public opinion. First of all, the official blog refuted those false rumors, and also advocated the self-discipline of stars in the entertainment industry. At 8 o'clock in the evening of the 21st, when the storm caused by Wang Bin gradually began to subside, the official V of Beijing television posted an official leak video on its Waves blog. The content of the video was very interesting. It was the rehearsal scene of the National Day Party in the T1 studio of satellite TV on the afternoon of the 17th. And the protagonist of the video was Lu Chen. The official V intercepted two of the rehearsal videos, which were the scenes of Lu Chen singing two songs of I Love You China, and launched a prize voting activity to all blog users in the post. TN, the content of the poll was very simple: two theme songs with the same title. Which one do you prefer? Finally, the official V indicated that the audience's choice would determine the song Lu Chen would sing at the National Day Party. Anyone with a discerning eye knows that this blog post must be part of Beijing television's crisis public relations. The purpose is to divert everyone's attention from Wang Bin, at least not to be involved with Beijing television. However, this method of diverting attention was not objectionable. In fact, it was very interesting. Because of this, Lu Chen's two works aroused the curiosity and attention of many people, and the number of clicks and comments increased rapidly. At 8:24 p.m., Chen Fei reposted the blog post and commented that she would vote for the second song. In addition to Chen Fei, there were also many reposts and comments in other circles. Coupled with the official push, the topic was quickly stirred up. By 10 p.m., the number of votes had exceeded 200,000 plus. The most excited ones were Lu Chen's fans. In Lu Chen's Waves blog support group, Lu Jiejun's Group V, the comment area was flooded. The fans who support Lu Chen all praised the official leaked video of Beijing television. Lu Chen is big and powerful. Our family's little Chen is getting better and better. Both songs are very good. I didn't expect him to write theme songs. The first song is not a theme song, is it? The trend is obvious. The second song has nothing to say. I'm convinced. Chen Fei said that she likes the second song, and I like it too. Lu Chen won't replace Wang Bin, will he? Beijing television's National Day Party is a must-watch. Must-watch +1. Beijing television is nothing. Lu Chen will definitely be on CCTV's Spring Festival Gala in the future. Looking forward to CCTV's Spring Festival Gala. Compared with ordinary fans, many people in the industry are much more professional in their evaluation. Chen Guodong, who once wrote the wonderful blog post, The Silent Majority, for Lu Chen's You Who Sat Next to Me album, praised in his blog, Lu Chen's achievements in original folk songs are already well known. I didn't expect him to write such a wonderful theme song. The rich melody and musical ideas are really admirable. About the vote for Beijing television, it really makes me feel embarrassed. I thought about it for a long time and didn't choose. In terms of the characteristics of the theme works alone, the second work undoubtedly crushes the first, but the first work combines the theme and pop music very well, full of bold innovation. He said, I like both of Lu Chen's works. I like them very much. If possible, I hope to be able to appear on the stage at the same time, but that's obviously impossible, so I didn't choose either of them. Chen Guodong didn't choose, but there were many people who voted for songs on the blog. As a result, Lu Chen's a cappella second song, I Love You China, beat the first song, I Love You China, by a wide margin of 72.89% to 27.11% during the 2-day allotted voting time. And his creative talent and singing strength have been praised by the vast majority of people. With this wave of publicity and hype by Beijing television, the number of blog fans has exceeded 6.5 million. Lu Chen's reputation in and out of the circle has also been big. Taking advantage of this, Lu Chen grandly launched the album crowdfunding plan, which had been delayed for more than half a month, on Wave's blog. The crowdfunding website was launched at the same time. Except for a few people, the term crowdfunding is unfamiliar to people all over the world. Therefore, Lu Chen deliberately briefly explained what crowdfunding model is in his blog post, and attached a website address at the same time. Clicking on the website address could directly log on to the crowdfunding website. For Lu Chen's fans, they may not care about what crowdfunding is, or the meaning contained in the term, nor do they want to know the meaning and market value of the crowdfunding model. What really aroused the interest of fans was that Lu Chen was finally going to release a CD record. Although it is said that after entering the new century, the domestic and international recording industry has been getting worse year by year. Nowadays, online sales have become the focus of album release. Even the evaluation criteria of gold record and platinum record include the sales data of music websites, but the meaning of real records is still very different. It's very easy to release an online album or a single, but it's not easy to release a CD record. First of all, there is the production cost. CD is far higher than the cost-free audio data. The cost and difficulty of sales and distribution are also higher than that of websites. Except for big stars, it is difficult to earn back the cost. Many singers, in order to brush up their image, have launched CD records. The sales data are often very bleak, and they are completely losing money to make money, or even puffing themselves up to look impressive. Many CD albums are half sold and half given, or given back to fans as gifts, and some are smashed in their hands. Therefore, although there are countless singers who dream of producing a CD record and getting the achievement of gold record, or even platinum record, only a small number of people can really do it. For entertainment agencies, unless they want to support a certain artist at all costs, they will never easily dig a big hole for themselves. The more stringent the cost control of a company, the more this is the case. But this market still exists. Releasing a CD record was a plan that Lu Chen had long thought about. He didn't want to puff himself up to look impressive and spend hundreds of thousands of yuan to brush up his image, so the crowdfunding model was the best choice. And the success of the online sales of You Who Sat Next to Me album has also boosted Lu Chen's confidence. His fundraising goal for this album is 500,000 yuan. There are a total of 4 support options. The first item, 1 yen yuan, 10,000 people, a lucky draw will produce a grand prize winner, and the prize is a laptop. The second item, 15 yen yuan, unlimited, supporters can get a genuine CD record of You Who Sat Next to Me. The third item, 100 yen yuan, 1,000 people, supporters can get a CD and Lu Chen's autographed commemorative poster, Lu Jiejun's custom-made 16 GB USB drive, keychain, metal nameplate limited set. The fourth item, 188 yen yuan, 1,000 people, supporters can get 2 CDs and Lu Chen's autographed commemorative poster, Lu Jiejun's custom-made 64 GB USB drive, notepad, keychain, metal nameplate limited set. Because it was his first crowdfunding, Lu Chen did not make the project too complicated, and there were only 4 support options. To be honest, he had no idea about the album crowdfunding. He didn't know if he could succeed in reaching the pre-funding goal of 500,000 yuan, and then successfully release his debut CD record. But the arrow on the bow had to be shot. Whether the crowdfunding website can become a hit depends on this first crowdfunding project. In order to achieve the best promotion effect, in addition to vigorously promoting in the live broadcast room, post bar, and QQ group, Lu Chen also at all the famous V accounts he knows on his blog, such as Tan Hong, Chen Fei, and so on. Fortunately, Lu Chen's fans are still very interested in the album crowdfunding project. After he officially launched the crowdfunding website, the number of visitors and member registrations began to grow gradually, and there were more and more. Then the first supporter appeared. He chose the first item and first supported 1 yuan. 1 yuan, this was the first money that the crowdfunding website received. Although it looks very pitiful, it heralds a brand new business financing model, which has officially stepped onto the big stage of the internet. It starts with an album record. Regardless of whether the final result is success or failure, Lu Chen has a feeling of creating history. Chapter 180. Meng Meng is an ordinary girl. Her family background is ordinary, her academic performance is ordinary, her high school is ordinary, and her appearance and height are also ordinary. She belongs to the kind of ordinary that is completely inconspicuous in the crowd. Of course, all 18-year-old girls have their own interests and hobbies. Meng Meng likes to sing and listen to music, and can even play a few simple songs with a guitar, although her level is also very ordinary. The most glorious moment of her 18 years of life was when she sang Edelweiss at the school's New Year's Day party last year, which won the applause of many students. Unfortunately, she didn't win the favor of the male god in her mind. But Meng Meng is not sad, because she knows the distance between dream and reality. She silently likes and never confesses. Just like she likes several singers and idols, but she will not fanatically chase stars and spend money to buy peripheral products. It's all to swindle money. She said to herself, if you like a singer, just buy his album, the others are used to swindle fans' money. Sometimes, Meng Meng also feels incredible for her rationality. It wasn't until 2 months ago that she saw a video in the QQ group. The content of this video is a program clip of a university graduation party. A very handsome boy is on the stage, playing and singing a song called Those Flowers. It is this singing video that Meng Meng has watched over and over again dozens of times that let her know Lu Chen. The girl's heart was suddenly knocked open. Meng Meng became a fan of Lu Chen. She searched for information related to Lu Chen on the internet, learned about the latter's blog, post bar, QQ group, live broadcast room, and also joined Lu Chen's fan support group, Lu Jiejun. In Lu Jiejun, where more than 80% of the boys are, because she can write some fresh articles and song reviews, and because she is a girl, Meng Meng's ID, Meng Meng, has gained a high popularity. This makes Meng Meng spend most of her leisure time in Lu Chen's fan circle. In this virtual big family, she is confident and beautiful. September 23rd is Wednesday, a very ordinary day. At 10:25 in the evening, Meng Meng finally completed all the homework exercises for today. Although her parents didn't have much expectation for her, Meng Meng herself wanted to be admitted to a second-tier university, so she was still very serious about her usual studies. She hoped to improve her grades in her last year of high school. But this did not hinder her love for Lu Chen. Meng Meng couldn't wait to log into Waves' blog. Checking her blog every day had become one of her habits. The Lu Jiejun group on Waves blog was one of her online homes. She liked to chat about music and Lu Chen's songs with thousands of friends in the discussion area. In this way, Meng Meng released the pressure from her studies. Out of habit, the first thing she opened was Lu Chen's personal blog. Lu Chen FMX, number of fans, 6720056. He gained a lot of followers again. Seeing that the number of fans of the blog had increased by tens of thousands, Meng Meng showed a happy smile. When Lu Chen's popularity increased, she always had a sense of accomplishment and felt sincerely happy. In the past, when she saw the brainless fans of a certain star, she always secretly despised them in her heart, but now it seemed that she would soon do the same. Meng Meng stuck out her tongue and her eyes moved to Lu Chen FMX's latest blog post. Her eyes suddenly lit up. The crowdfunding campaign for the album, You Who Sat Next to Me, began. Meng Meng had long known that this album, which was selling well on QQ Music, was going to be released on CD. She raised both hands in favor and eagerly looked forward to it. Although the album downloaded from the website was very cheap and convenient, it didn't have a sense of reality, which made her CD player useless. It was really a huge pity. Meng Meng, like many music lovers, firmly believed that the sound quality of CDs was better than lossless high-quality audio files. Now that the long-awaited CD record was about to come out, she was simply excited. It was just that what made her wonder was what crowdfunding was. After reading the content of the blog post, Meng Meng finally understood that the so-called crowdfunding was actually everyone pooling money together. If the pre-funding goal was reached, then the official CD album would be released. If the goal couldn't be reached, how could it not be reached? Meng Meng knew that many Lu Jiejun fans were waiting for this CD album just like herself. She had to do her part. Meng Meng clicked on the URL in the blog post and entered the so-called crowdfunding website. The login speed was very fast. The design of the website was simple and crisp, refreshing, without any annoying pop-up advertisements. The banner area in the middle was the promotional picture of the album, You Who Sat Next to Me. Lu Chen looked very handsome holding a guitar. According to the website guide, Meng Meng successfully registered a member. After the account was successfully established, she could choose which way to support Lu Chen's debut album. There were a total of 4 choices. The first lottery choice was directly ignored by Meng Meng. She never believed that this kind of lucky event with a small probability would fall on her head. She didn't even buy a lottery ticket. The second option was to support 15 yuan in exchange for a genuine record. Meng Meng subconsciously wanted to choose to support. However, the third and fourth support options made Meng Meng hesitate. Signed posters, customized USB drives for the support group, key rings, metal plates. She really wanted them. But buying peripherals was contrary to her previous habits, which made her very confused. Although the money was not much, and Meng Meng could fully support it, if her classmates and friends knew that she, who had never bought celebrity peripherals, had made an exception, wouldn't that be a bit shameful? Who cares? Meng Meng gritted her teeth and manipulated the mouse to click on the fourth support option. She wanted to buy the 188 yuan package. But what Meng Meng didn't expect was that as soon as she pressed the mouse, a striking prompt popped up on the screen: "This item is sold out, please forgive me. You can choose other support items." What? Meng Meng suddenly felt like she was struck by lightning. How could it be sold out? At this time, she noticed that under the support button, there was a display of support number, 1000/1000. Limited to 1000 sets. Meng Meng realized that she was late. Fortunately, the 100 yuan package showed 975/1000, indicating that 25 sets had not been sold. So, Meng Meng hurriedly clicked on the third option, or it would be too late. "This item is sold out, please forgive me. You can choose other support items." It was still the same prompt. Meng Meng was stunned. She quickly pressed F5 to refresh the page and found that it was already 1000/1000. The word "support" above the 2 buttons had all turned into "sold out" in gray and could no longer be clicked. Both packages were sold out. Ah! Meng Meng dropped the mouse and screamed with both hands holding her head. Her heart was really depressed to the extreme. There were obviously still some just now, but in the blink of an eye, they were all snatched up. If she had known earlier, she wouldn't have hesitated just now. Maybe she could have grabbed a set. This was the limited commemorative edition of Lu Chen's debut album. The first item, the 15 yuan CD record, had no quota limit, and could be bought at will. But Meng Meng felt as if she had lost her beloved treasure. With infinite resentment, she logged into the discussion area of Lu Jiejun Group V and posted about her grievances. As a result, Meng Meng found that there was more than one person who had the same experience as herself. Many people were complaining that they didn't get the limited edition package, or that they hesitated and wanted to buy it again, but it was too late. Some people jumped out and proudly showed off their achievements. This guy actually opened 5 accounts and bought 5 limited edition sets of 188 yuan. Meng Meng finally knew the reason why she didn't get it, and for the first time, she spat at someone on the internet. Then, the other party was drowned in the endless saliva. He was sprayed to the point where he was covered in cuts and bruises, and he quickly disappeared. Everyone had no choice, so they ran to Lu Chen's blog and strongly demanded that the limited edition support be opened again. Lu Chen didn't expect such a situation at all. When Miss Meng complained on the blog, he was on the 29th floor of the same building as his studio, in the headquarters of the crowdfunding network, Beijing Mukin Crowdfunding Network Company, Limited. The newly established company, which was spun off from Lu Chen's studio, occupied an area of 500 square meters. The renovation alone cost more than 1 million yuan, and it was completed in a rush. At present, the company has employed nearly 30 employees. Because the crowdfunding network was officially launched in the evening, more than half of the employees were working overtime in the office area to ensure the smooth operation of the website. And they were fortunate to witness the birth of a business legend. The 100 and 188 yuan packages were all sold out in only 2.5 hours. Miss Li Mushi stood in front of the projection screen and announced to the employees in high spirits, "We have completed the scheduled crowdfunding goal, and our first project has been a complete success." A newly established website, a brand new business model that has not been tested by the market, without any advertising investment, the first operational project was declared a success in just over 2 hours. The 500,000 crowdfunding goal has now been broken through, and it is still rising. Although a 7% commission is not much, which website can make money immediately after its operation? Most websites have to desperately spend money in the early stages and rely on free services to attract customers. The crowdfunding network has subverted this conventional model, which is simply an incredible miracle. Among the employees present were senior insiders who had been poached by headhunters, and they knew very well what this meant. The future of this company was boundless. Everyone was very glad that they joined as the first batch of employees, because the company promised that as long as they worked hard and made achievements, any employee could get options as a reward. If the crowdfunding network went public one day, the employees who owned the shares might become millionaires in one fell swoop. Such stories are not uncommon in the IT industry. Everyone couldn't help cheering and clapping their hands one after another. Li Mushi turned around, extended her hand to Lu Chen, and said with a smile, "Chairman Lu Chen, congratulations." Lu Chen shook hands with her and said with a smile, "Same to you." Chapter 181. Mukin Crowdfunding. This name was decided by Li Mushi. Mu represented her and Li Mubai, and Chen was naturally Lu Chen. Lu Chen was the chairman and legal representative of Beijing Mukin Crowdfunding Network Company, Limited, while Li Mushi was the CEO and CFO. Although Lu Chen accounted for 51% of Mukin Crowdfunding's shares, according to the agreement between the two parties, his shares would be diluted sooner or later. The company would introduce venture capital and equity incentives, and the possibility of going public in the future was not ruled out. Lu Chen had no intention of developing in the IT industry. His eyes were always fixed on the stage under the spotlight. But the success of the crowdfunding website was also his success. The first crowdfunding project on the website platform was Lu Chen's album, which was directly related to Lu Chen's vital interests. The more successful the crowdfunding website was, the higher the value of the shares in his hands. Therefore, Lu Chen was grateful and admired Li Mushi, who established Mukin Crowdfunding. Without this returnee Miss Li, the online operation of the crowdfunding website would not be so smooth. The future was hard to say, and he would also be involved in too much time and energy. Now, it could basically be said that he could sit back and enjoy the fruits of others' labor. In the past 2.5 hours, Lu Chen was still a little excited when he recalled it. The promotional blog post of Waves's blog was released at 8:00 in the evening, and the crowdfunding website was launched at the same time. In just 190 minutes, the amount of crowdfunding climbed from zero all the way to the current 500,000 plus. The process was a bit thrilling. As of 10:30, the number of registered members of the website had reached 26820, the first, third and fourth support slots were all filled, the 2,000 limited commemorative sets were sold out, and the pre-sales of single records reached 13,000 plus. The crowdfunding goal of 500,000 was enough to ensure that Lu Chen's physical album would achieve a small profit. Originally, he was not fully sure about this, but now the fact was that 500,000 was just the beginning, and there was still great room for growth, which represented rich profits. Lu Chen only now discovered that he had underestimated his influence and the potential power of his fans. Unknowingly, Lu Chen had a large number of real die-hard fans, or real fans. This discovery made him happier than achieving his crowdfunding goal. Lu Chen was deep in thought. Li Mushi was looking at him. Originally, Li Mushi was not very interested in Lu Chen and had doubts about Lu Chen's business ideas. She even suspected Lu Chen's purpose in getting close to Li Mubai. There had never been a lack of people who fawned on the rich and powerful around the Li clan disciples. But after returning to the capital, in the process of establishing Mukan crowdfunding, Li Mushi gradually put aside the prejudice in her heart. The outstanding graduate of Wharton had to admit that Lu Chen provided a genius idea, and the friendship between Lu Chen and Li Mubai was sincere. The two even almost quarreled over the issue of shares. Lu Chen originally intended to give the controlling stake to Li Mubai, but Li Mubai firmly refused. This made Li Mushi have a more favorable impression of Lu Chen, and she even found many of the latter's advantages. Needless to say, Lu Chen's appearance was tall, handsome, sunny and healthy. It could be seen that he was the kind of person who often exercised. He was not the kind of pretty boy or little fresh meat at all. He was very manly. His talent in music was obvious to all. Not only did he win the championship of Singing China, but he also successfully released his debut album and gained a foothold in the entertainment industry. Li Mushi has never paid attention to the artists and stars in the entertainment industry, but Lu Chen gave her the feeling that he was mature, reliable and resolute. He didn't have the arrogance and impetuosity of young people, and had a different kind of charm. If Li Mushi wasn't, well, she might really like Lu Chen. Miss Li's eyes couldn't help but turn to Lu Shi's face. The latter was right beside Lu Chen, concentrating on browsing the blog with her mobile phone. A faint smile flashed in Li Mushi's eyes. Lu Shi didn't notice Li Mushi's eyes. She had been paying attention to the movements on the internet. Lu Chen, many fans said that they wanted to buy a commemorative set but didn't get one. They want us to increase the number of support. A look of excitement appeared on her elder sister's face. Should we add more? Lu Chen was also moved. He couldn't help but look at Li Mushi, Boss Li. Now is not the 1980s and 1990s. Selling CD records alone is basically a loss. A genuine record is only 15 yuan, just counting the cost of production and distribution. 200,000 sales barely break even. If you add the publicity expenses, 300,000 sales are not profitable. Nowadays, it's really not easy to sell 300,000 sales of a record. In contrast, the profits of peripheral products are much higher. For example, a 100 yuan set, the cost is at most 51,000, and the sales volume is 50,000 yuan. A 188 yuan set can earn 100. As far as the current situation is concerned, the reservation of 1,000 copies of each of the two sets is too conservative. It is possible to increase it to 3,000 or even 5,000. That's several times the profit. Of course, Lu Chen first has to ask for Li Mushi's opinion. After all, she is the actual controller of the crowdfunding website. What Lu Chen didn't expect was that Li Mushi pondered for a moment and replied, "If you ask for my opinion, then I suggest not to increase it. The so-called limited edition must have a limited number. If you miss it, there will be no more. Only then will it appear precious and valuable. Otherwise, those who didn't buy it will be satisfied, and those who grabbed it before will feel uncomfortable." From the perspective of the website, not changing the rules at will is a manifestation of credibility. I suggest you announce the success of crowdfunding on your blog, and then apologize to your fans, saying that it can't be increased, and let them wait for the next opportunity. The more hype, the better. Lu Chen felt that Li Mushi was very reasonable. He even thought of a business term, hunger sales. Although Lu Chen didn't like this deliberate business behavior, this time it was purely an accident. He thought about it, nodded and said, "That's it. The limited edition package will not be increased, and the CD record that supports 15 yuan will be given an additional poster. Posters belong to printed matter, and the cost of printed matter will be greatly reduced with the increase of the quantity. For example, the price of 1,000 copies and 10,000 copies can be said to be the difference between heaven and earth. Giving posters will increase the cost a little, but if it can drive the sales of records, it will be worth it." Li Mushi said with a smile, "That's perfectly fine. In addition, I want to tell you a piece of good news, that is, the creative copyright protection of the crowdfunding website has been approved, and you can get the certificate by this Friday at the latest." Really? Lu Chen was simply surprised. For the crowdfunding website, the confirmation of this creative copyright protection is too important. Otherwise, in terms of this model alone, it would be very easy for others to copy and imitate it. Once the big shots in the industry are interested, how can the weak crowdfunding website compete with them? Now that the copyright protection approval has been passed, the crowdfunding website has precious and incomparable time for development. Even if it is only a short year, it is enough to grow up and become strong. There is no doubt that the Li family has played a huge role in this. Otherwise, with Lu Chen's own strength, it is estimated that 99% of the time he can't get this certificate, and he can't expect to make a big bucket of gold by relying on a creative idea. Of course it's true. Li Mushi's eyes turned, staring at Lu Shi without blinking, and asked, "Sister Shi, how about we go out to celebrate in the evening and have a drink in the bar?" Lu Shi didn't doubt her. She shook her head with a smile and said, "Next time. It's late now. You should rest early." Li Mushi smiled and nodded. At 11:30 that evening, Lu Chen posted a new blog post on his blog. In this long blog post of thanks and apology, Lu Chen first expressed his most sincere thanks to all the fans who supported the crowdfunding project of You Who Sat Next to Me album. Because of everyone's support, the crowdfunding project was a complete success in just a few hours. Then he apologized to those fans who did not order the limited edition package. Although the number of ordered packages could not be increased, he decided to give fans who supported the 15 yuan CD record an additional poster. In addition, more updated peripheral products will soon be withdrawn, so there is no need to be disappointed if you can't order them now. As soon as Lu Chen's blog post was posted, it received a lot of responses from fans. Most fans expressed understanding. After all, limited edition peripheral products were very common. They were happy with the success of the crowdfunding project, and those who had ordered hoped to get the record as soon as possible. The good interactive atmosphere between the two sides and the hot topics created have attracted the attention of many people on the blog. Coupled with the support of the original fan group, the number of registered members of the crowdfunding website that has just been launched has been rising. By the next day, September 24th, the number of registered members of the crowdfunding website exceeded 100,000. As the first and only crowdfunding project, in addition to the 3 support options that have been sold out, the only unlimited 15 yuan support has reached 50,000 plus. As a result, the amount of crowdfunding for You Who Sat Next to Me exceeded 1 million, reaching more than 200% of the target. The setting time of this crowdfunding project is as long as 15 days, which can be said to be full of potential. Due to the online operation of the crowdfunding website and the success of the first funding, coupled with the influence of Lu Qin, the crowdfunding model has inevitably attracted a certain amount of attention in and out of the circle. Many entertainment media companies and singers have discovered that there is such a creative way to release albums and peripheral products. On the basis of ensuring profits, they collect money first and then customize the delivery, which greatly reduces the risk. Some companies have approached Mukin crowdfunding for projects and tried to operate in the same way. Shrewd people outside the circle, or in another circle, have keenly discovered the advantages and potential market of this new financing model. Coupled with the creative copyright protection certificate obtained by the crowdfunding website, venture capital has begun to pay attention. But for Lu Qin, things on the crowdfunding website basically have little to do with him. In the next few days, he has a full schedule of work. The first is the rehearsal on the 25th and the official recording on the 29th of the Beijing Television National Day Party. On National Day, Lu Qin will also attend the wedding of Qin Jinhao and sister Na. At 8:00 in the evening of September 27th, the China music chart for the 4th week of August was updated on time. Chapter 182. China Original Music Chart, or Original Music Chart for short, was jointly created by the Chinese Musicians Association in conjunction with dozens of media such as QQ Music, NetEase Music, Pop Radio, and so on. It is the most authoritative pop music chart in China. The Original Music Chart is published every weekend, ranking the top 50 domestic pop songs according to the popularity index. The chart index is based on the data provided by major music media, including broadcast, download, on-demand, purchase and other values, converted according to a fixed formula. In the domestic pop music scene, the ranking of the Original Music Chart to a large extent represents the current trend of pop music. The 4th week of China Original Music Chart in August was released on time on September 27th. So, the people in the circle who paid attention to this list were surprised to find that they saw something very extraordinary. That was the name of Lu Qin. Lu Chen's The Brother Who Slept on My Upper Bunk / Popularity Index, 2135, ranked 49th this week. Lu Chen's The Bright Times of Youth / Popularity Index, 3714, ranked 30th this week. Lu Chen's Love in the Wind / Popularity Index, 4056, ranked 28th this week. Lu Chen's Time Ballad / Popularity Index, 4470, ranked 25th this week. Lu Chen's You Who Sat Next to Me / Popularity Index, 5389, ranked 16th this week. Lu Chen's Those Flowers / Popularity Index, 5578, ranked 14th this week. Lu Chen's The Brightest Star in the Night Sky / Popularity Index, 7262, ranked 4th this week. 7 songs. As a newcomer who has just made his debut, Lu Qin unexpectedly won 7 important seats on the Original Music Chart in one fell swoop with his debut album, You Who Sat Next to Me. It was simply a miracle. In the history of the Original Music Chart, it was very common for the same album to have multiple works on the chart, but it was basically 2 or 3 songs. If it was an excellent work of a superstar, it was not uncommon for 5 or 6 songs to be on the same chart. But it was really rare for 7 of the 10 works in an album to be on the chart. This must require the average level of the whole album to be extremely high and to be highly recognized by the public. If it was easy to achieve before the emergence of the Original Music Chart in the 1980s and 1990s, it was really difficult now. The reason was very simple. The original music chart was an original chart. No matter how popular the foreign cover works were, they could not get on the chart. At present, the power of original works in the country was declining. It was normal for an album to have 1 or 2 masterpieces. Basically, no company was willing to put 7 or 8 masterpieces in one album. It would be a reckless waste of God's gifts. Lu Chen's You Who Sat Next to Me was undoubtedly an outlier. It first sold well on QQ Music, and even triggered the industry to think about domestic original music, and set off a school folk wind in the pop music world. The quality of the works in the album was too high. The 10 songs were all excellent works, and some of them could even be called classics. It could be said to be a collection of masterpieces, showing Lu Chen's creative talent to the fullest. Therefore, in addition to being shocked, everyone felt that the appearance of this miracle was only natural. In the 3rd week of September, 3 of Lu Chen's works have already appeared on the original music chart. After a period of brewing and fermentation, this week's Soaring to the Sky was actually not so difficult to accept. What really made people jealous was that Lu Chen's impact on the original music chart was obviously just beginning. Next week, The Brightest Star in the Night Sky was very likely to top the list, and then all 10 songs would be on the chart. For all 10 works of an album to be on the original music chart, that was a real miracle that could not be surpassed. It seemed that Lu Chen was creating such a miracle of dominating the chart. The pop music world, which had been quite quiet, was stirred up by Lu Chen's album. More people focused their attention on the new generation of singer. His reputation in the industry had improved imperceptibly. On September 25, Lu Chen participated in the official rehearsal of Beijing Television's National Day Party. On September 29, Lu Chen completed the live recording. In addition to Life on a String, sung by the top 5 contestants of Singing China, he relied on I Love You, China to sing solo, and even appeared on the stage longer than many star artists. I Love You, China used the second reel theme version. In order to get rid of the impact of Wang Bin's scandal, Beijing Television used Lu Chen's 2 works with the same title on the Waves blog to shift the focus. It also benefited Lu Chen. His cooperation with Beijing Television this time was undoubtedly a win-win result. The morning after the recording of Beijing Television's National Day Party, Lu Chen drove to Qin Feier Studio. After entering the new century, the domestic entertainment industry is growing and flourishing. With the emergence of a large number of new media and the influence of foreign trends, many big stars have left their original signing companies and set up their own personal studios and companies. There are undoubtedly many advantages to setting up their own studio or company. First of all, artists can fully control their own destiny, and will not be controlled and manipulated by the signing company in their career, and will hold all aspects of interests in their hands. However, this kind of independent model is usually only suitable for people who already stand at the top of the circle. They have strength, connections, money, and fame, and can make others choose to cooperate rather than suppress and exclude them. Naturally, they will do very well. If it's a newcomer or a half-popular or half-black star who opens a studio, it will be much more difficult. Without the support and resource investment of a signing company, everything depends on their own hard work, and 99% of them will be finished. In the circle, there are many arrogant artists who choose to start their own business, and as a result, they lose their hard-earned capital and disappear from the crowd, and have since disappeared and been forgotten. If Lu Chen didn't have the huge wealth from the dream world as a support, the highest level he could do was to sign up with an ordinary company as a small artist, and then work hard to make money to maintain a living. He directly set up his own studio, which was tantamount to taking a big step ahead of time. And this step, for most artists, may not be crossed in their lifetime. Qin Feier Studio was established 7 years ago. At that time, she was already the queen of sweet songs in the pop music world, and countless people supported her after she became independent. Therefore, Chen Feier's studio was very famous in the circle, and it was unknown how many newcomers wanted to sign under her name. Star studios can also sign people. When he arrived at the place, Lu Chen wanted to wait downstairs, but Chen Feier insisted that he come up. According to Sister Fei's words, since he was here, how could he not come up and have a cup of tea? Not giving face. Lu Chen could only obey. Chen Feier's studio is located on the 38th floor of a luxury business building in the central business district of Beijing. Its scale is comparable to that of a small and medium-sized company, and there are many employees who serve her. Sister Fei. What Lu Chen didn't expect was that as soon as he got out of the elevator, he saw Chen Feier standing at the door. Today, Chen Feier was wearing a Chanel long dress, and her long hair was as beautiful as jade. Lu Chen. She opened her arms with a smile and gave Lu Chen a beautiful hug. Welcome. Lu Chen said with a smile, Thank you, Sister Fei. He believed that not many people could enjoy such treatment. It could be judged from the expressions of the assistants behind Chen Feier. Chen Feier let go of her hands, took half a step back, and said very seriously, I should thank you. The 2 songs you wrote for me are very good. I like them very much. It's great. Lu Chen said with a smile, as long as you like them. He promised to write 2 songs for Chen Feier. After he finished it the day before yesterday, he directly sent the music score and sample to the latter. Therefore, there was today's meeting schedule. Do you know? The eyes of the Queen of Sweet Song flashed with a moving look. I've listened to both songs dozens of times and tried to sing them more than a dozen times. The more I sing them, the better I feel. I've decided that they will be the first and second main songs of my new album. For any songwriter, it is undoubtedly a great honor and glory for their work to become the main song of an album by a queen. Once the album sells well, it will definitely be a good thing for both fame and fortune. Generally speaking, those who are qualified to write the main song of Chen Feier's album are the top songwriters in the circle. In addition, for a queen of heaven like Chen Feier, releasing an album is a very cautious and even grand matter. The choice of the main song must be the best of the best, which takes a long time and a lot of energy to determine. The 2 songs written by Lu Chen have only been in Chen Feier's hands for a day or 2, and she has decided to make them the first and second main songs of the new album. In addition to her great trust in Lu Chen, she also really likes these 2 songs. In particular, Chen Feier is now facing the juncture of transformation. She has great expectations for this new album. It's really not easy to make such a decision. It was also because of this decision that Chen Feier invited Lu Chen over. Lu Chen smiled and said, I feel so much pressure. Chen Feier smiled and said, I believe in your strength. My album will be built around your 2 works. Let's visit my studio first, and then we'll go to Flying Stone Records together. Chen Feier and Flying Stone Records have always maintained a very good cooperative relationship. Most of her albums were produced by Flying Stone Records, and this new album was no exception. Chen Feier invited Lu Chen to Flying Stone Records today to determine the main song of the album. In addition, there are issues of arrangement and the overall style of the album to be discussed. As a songwriter, Chen Feier hopes that Lu Chen will participate in it and give advice for her new album. For Lu Chen, being able to intervene in the production of a Queen of Heaven's new album and include his name in the song list is also an excellent opportunity to improve his reputation and career. Therefore, for the 2 songs, Lu Chen only asked Chen Feier for a friendship price, 500,000. Of course, Chen Feier doesn't care about hundreds of thousands. Not to mention 200,000 or 300,000 for a song, even if it's 1 million, she can afford it. But this represents the good friendship and contractual relationship established between the 2 sides. Chapter 183. Beijing, New Era Art Park. The New Era Art Center was established in 2001. It is located between Haidian Park and Beijing University, covering an area of nearly 700 mu. It is one of the key construction projects of Beijing's art and culture. After more than 10 years of development, the New Era Art Park has gathered a large number of well-known domestic film and television, music, literature, and art production units. Big and small companies and studios are as many as thousands. It can be called a place where humanities gather. The famous Flying Stone Records is in the New Era Art Park. In the conference room, Lin Jijie rubbed his eyebrows tiredly, and there was a trace of irritation in his eyes. Sitting around the conference table with him were the vice president of Flying Stone Records, the manager of the brokerage department, the manager of the public relations department, a number of agents and several composers and arrangers in the production department. It could be said that they were all gathered together. The theme of this morning's meeting was the planning of the debut album of the newly established girl group of Flying Stone Records, MSN Beautiful Girls Group. MSN Beautiful Girls Group has a total of 3 members. MSN represents the initials of the 3 people. They are all about 20 years old, and both their appearance and singing skills are excellent. Lin Jijie was the initiator of the meeting, but he obviously couldn't fully control the situation. There was a lot of opposition to the album planning plan formulated by the music director, very much so. Such a situation was more or less beyond Lin Jijie's expectation, but he has always had a resolute character and never flinched because of difficulties. I emphasize again that it is the right choice to invite Lu Qin to help produce this album. His creative talent is obvious to all and he is trustworthy. MSN Beautiful Girls was a girl group newly launched by Flying Stone Records to cater to the market of young people. For this veteran record company, the establishment of this girl group was not easy. The 2 girl groups they launched a few years ago ended in failure, causing considerable losses to the company. As the saying goes, once bitten, twice shy. If it weren't for the popularity of girl groups now, and the popular boy and girl groups making a lot of money, Flying Stone Records would not have made up their mind to set up a new girl group again. The 3 members of MSN were personally selected by Lin Jijie. In order to make this group a hit, he teamed up with the planning department to develop a full set of publicity plans. Among them, the most important was MSN's debut album. In the end, Lin Jijie did not expect that his plan would encounter such great resistance within the company. Director Lin Xiangjuan, vice president of Flying Stone Records, smiled and said, Lu Qin is indeed an excellent singer-songwriter, but his works are mainly folk songs, which are not suitable for MSN-style positioning, and, the middle-aged woman in her 40s knocked on the table with her fingers and emphasized, he asked for 350,000 yuan for one of his songs. With such a price, who can't we invite? Moreover, I believe that the authors in the company will be able to come up with sufficiently outstanding works. She looked at the 3 composers and arrangers who had signed with Flying Stone Records, with encouragement in her eyes. The latter all straightened their backs, and one of them, a gentleman with black-rimmed glasses, nodded and said, as long as the company needs it, we colleagues will do our best to produce good works. After a pause, he said in an unquestionable tone, at least it won't be worse than others. The man's name was Fan Jun. He was the chief contracted author of Flying Stone Records and a famous composer and arranger in the circle. He has written many excellent works, but in recent years, there have been few excellent works. Fan Jun has cooperated with Flying Stone Records for nearly 20 years. He has a high status in this veteran record company. With the support of Xiangjuan, he was really not afraid to go against Lin Jijie. And in Fan Jun's heart, he was very dissatisfied with Lin Jijie's album planning. Lin Jijie's idea was to invite outsiders to supervise MSN's debut album and write the title song, while letting several senior authors as assistants. If it was a big figure in the circle, Fan Jun wouldn't have any ideas. Who the hell was Lu Qin? He was just a newcomer who had just made his debut and was lucky enough to produce an album that sold well. He dared to offer an astonishing price of 350,000 yuan per song. He really didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Fan Jun was not convinced. He had been working in this industry for so many years, and the results of his works were well known. How could he be willing to submit to a junior? If Lin Jijie really insisted, he would dare to flip the table and fall out with him. He could make a living wherever he went. Yes, Fan Jun was very strong-willed. Others echoed him one after another and put forward various reasons for opposition. Their reasons were nothing more than that Lu Chen's offer was too high, his qualifications were too shallow, his creative style was not right, and so on. They were just short of pointing at Lin Jijie's nose and saying that he was talking nonsense. Lin Jijie's face was as gloomy as water. As one of the largest record companies in China, Flying Stone Records has experienced prosperity in recession, almost went bankrupt and was reborn again. It was really not easy to persist and survive until now. In recent years, Flying Stone Records has been seeking innovation and change, conforming to the development of the times, and striving to compete for market share with the emerging entertainment media companies, and has also achieved considerable results. But the competition in this industry was too fierce. In the eyes of outsiders, Flying Stone Records was a big and powerful company, but Lin Jijie was very clear about the company's current problems. The first was the phenomenon of a shortage of singers and artists. There were a lot of singers signed by Flying Stone Records, and there were several in the A-list, but all of them were old people from the 1980s and 1990s. They were more than enough to defend their achievements but not enough to make progress, and lacked enough appeal among young people. Of course, the company also attached great importance to the cultivation of new people, but so far, there was no one who could take the lead. It was under such circumstances that Lin Jijie promoted the establishment of MSN. However, he underestimated the resistance from within the company. Lin Jijie knew that, as the music director, he had touched the interests of some people, so he was regarded as crossing the line. Encountering opposition was inevitable. Buzz at this time, the cell phone on the table suddenly vibrated. Lin Jijie picked up the phone and glanced at it, and his face changed a little. Sorry, I'll take the call first. He immediately got up and left the conference room and went out to answer the phone. The atmosphere in the conference room relaxed. Yi Xiangjuan chatted with several department managers. Fan Jun chatted and laughed with the singer's agents, looking like he had won. With such fierce opposition from everyone, Lin Jijie's plan was bound to fail. Everything would go back to its original track. After a while, Lin Jijie came back. He didn't sit down again, but waved his mobile phone at everyone and said, "Let's put this matter aside first." Yi Xiangjuan frowned and said, "Director Lin, this is not good, is it? Everyone is very busy. I think it's better to finalize the new plan first, so as not to waste time. Tomorrow, the company will have a national day-long holiday." She thought that Lin Jijie was playing a trick of delaying time in order to win the support of the company's senior management. Lin Jijie smiled and said, "I also want to finalize it, but Miss Chen Fei is coming here soon. I believe everyone knows that her new album will be produced in our company." The cooperation between Chen Fei and Flying Stone Records has a long history. Any of the former's albums is extremely important to Flying Stone Records, and there is no room for neglect. The weight of this, Yi Xiangjuan could still weigh it. But she still had doubts. "Director Lin, did Miss Chen Fei come for her new album? I didn't see any notice from the company." Lin Jijie nodded and said, "Yes, she came with Lu Qin, because Miss Chen Fei has chosen the two songs Lu Qin wrote for her as the first and second title songs of her new album." What? Everyone at the scene was shocked. Chen Fei actually used Lu Chen's works as the title songs of her new album, and it was two songs. She was a big shot at the Heavenly Queen level. What virtue and ability did Lu Chen have? Fan Jun suddenly felt that his face was burning, and he was a little ashamed. Fan Jun had long known about Chin Fei's new album. Fan Jun even had the ambition to write the title song for this album. Once it could be realized, his career and reputation would undoubtedly take a new step. But Fan Jun was also very clear that his position was not enough. He might be able to get the benefits of the song collection and arrangement for Chin Fei's new album, but it was basically a delusion to write the title song. He never thought that Chin Fei's title song would actually choose Lu Chen's work, which he disdained. In addition, Lu Chen could write the title song for Chin Fei, so it would be a piece of cake for him to produce MSN's album. Their previous reasons for opposition had all become a joke. Whether it was Fan Jun or Yi Xiangjuan, they had a feeling of being slapped in the face on the spot. Seeing the ugly expressions on the faces of these people present, Lin Jijie was really happy in his heart. Chin Fei's assistant informed him yesterday that Chin Fei would come to Flying Stone Records this morning. Lin Jijie also just learned the reason why Chin Fei came to the company. To tell the truth, he was also very surprised. He couldn't figure out why Chin Fei chose Lu Chen. With Chin Fei's status in the circle, she could casually invite top authors, and few creators could refuse her. It should be known that for this album, Chin Fei had the idea of transformation. The difficulty of its production was bound to be very high, and once it was successful, its influence would also be huge. What song did Lu Chen write that moved this queen of sweet songs? Lin Jijie was really curious. But on the surface, he still maintained his composure and said, MSN's album plan will be postponed. I'll go to meet Miss Chin Fei first. Does President Yi want to come together? This time, no one raised any objections, and several composers and arrangers looked at each other. Yi Xiangjuan felt like she had swallowed a fly and couldn't spit it out even if she wanted to. She could only force out a smile, then let's go together. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.